Get ready for the next battle, ladies, gentlemen, natives, and everyone else in between. My name is SPF Dark. We're coming at you live here at Under Pressure to bring you yet another edition of Prism Break. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, there is someone joining me here tonight.
Hello everyone, it's me Carnival. You might know me from last week where I commentated with Dark on the very same block of Prism Break, but we are back for Prism Break 15? 15. With Red Leviathans versus Asphyxiation up on the board. It is the best of 3 rounds here as we are going in.
Best of 3, and first thing kicking off this best of 3 is Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market. I love Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market, as most of the people typically do. Yeah, that's all I have to say right now. I like this map.
Splat Zone's Haggle. What is there not to love, honestly?
So many fun things you can do. You know, you can like be a little rat under these tents, or you can be a harassment above the tents with your chargers or spatlings or any backline weapons, as well as the side routes you can take to be just an annoying thorn in the opponent's side by just flanking around especially with those walkovers. It's a good map.
Honestly, I feel like Hagglefish Market has it for everybody. You want long range, you can have it. If you want to be, like you said, a little annoyance on the front lines, you can have it. Hagglefish has it for you.
Yeah.
It is definitely more of a snowbally map when you get to the right map modes, though, on this one, I feel.
Yeah, the ramp leading up to enemy plat is definitely going to be the lockout zone for here on zones Hagglefish specifically. It's a very good lockout, and if you play your cards right, it be a very easy lockout, especially with the white weapon comp. And seeing here we see, ooh, I see myself an S-Blast, which is my weapon of choice.
You see the S-Blast there? We're seeing a 52, a Blapid, and a Spy-Slosher on one side, while we see a Decavitator. I believe that is I can't tell, is that a range blaster or regular blaster?
Regular.
Anyways, we are moving in right now with Red Leviathans going 2 down in the first couple of seconds here as Asphyxiation is pulling forward. It's an absolute bloodbath in mid here. Nobody has capped the zone quite yet, as we can see that the zone has stayed at pretty much the middle mark, but not for long, as Asphyxiation takes the advantage state, moves forward, and caps the zone.
Getting the opening a gambit that they really need to really crack open Leviathans. Asphyxiation is just slowly pushing on forward, keeping Leviathans back, playing that ramp like I mentioned earlier to try and lock them out for as long as they can. With this hold, it's going to be very hard for them to push through at the right special, but the Reef Slider might make the opening that they need to try to finally break through, but no, Leviathans is still struggling to push through. Finally, one from Asphyxiation does go down, followed by a second pick. This is the opening they need to try and break through. Asphyxiation's just utter offense.
We could see that Blapid over the canopy there, but that Slosher coming in from behind on Asphyxiation and taking one down. Red Leviathans goes 3 down with Asphyxiation going in to retake that zone. They are now at 20 ticks until they win. Red Leviathans needs to go in now unless they want to lose.
Yeah, with these players down from Red Leviathans, I don't think they can do much of it. The stronghold from Asphyxiation is just not enough for them to be able to break through. Asphyxiation is able to ride that first zone cap and just ride it out to victory.
They had some very incredible coordination there in the first match, and they like I said, this is a very good snowbally map when you get a team comp that knows how to work it well, and they definitely worked it well in their favor.
Yeah, it was a very, like I mentioned earlier, that ramp leading up to the enemy plant, if you mentioned it just now, if you have the right weapon comp and know how to play around it properly, you can very easily lock the opponents out for such a long period of time. I don't think Red Leviathans, after getting like pushed back after the first wipeout, or not the first wipeout, but the first like really good team win from Asphyxiation, they just weren't able to like break through Asphyxiation. There's just too much pressure coming in from all different kinds of angles. It was very, very much threatening and oppressing.
Absolutely, and as we are moving on to this second match, we have Scorch Gorge Calamblitz, which I feel is a quite a staple of many of the competitive things that you see around the Splatoon market nowadays. I swear I turn and I see Scorch Gorge clams everywhere, almost.
Yeah, I mean, Scorch Gorge gets played a lot, and there are very good reasons to play it. I personally have been burned out on this map map mode a long while ago, and I'll save that story for another day if we ever get the time to get for that. I do see, however, a big swig come out from Red Leviathans in exchange for a few weapon choices. That's a very interesting pick here.
Very interesting pick indeed. You don't usually see a big swig out in the field, out in the wild like this. As we are moving forward, Red Leviathans takes the control of the pillar in mid very quickly, getting a pick on asphyxiation. As they are moving forward, they have a bit of a control on the clam economy here, but not for long, as asphyxiation is coming in with the stamp and takes 3 of the Leviathans down.
A huge stamp being used right there to just keep Red Leviathan push back. But I don't think it's going to amount much to a push here, as they don't have the proper clams at the ready to try and make anything work here. So now Red Leviathan is just sort of just trying to play it slow asphyxiation down as best they can. It's a 2-for-2 trade on this ramp here. Maybe playing a little bit too aggressively here, asphyxiation. You don't exactly have the clamp to get a proper push going. Now that you have a power clamp, you don't have the manpower to back it up, and so you're forced to back up from Red Leviathans who are trying to flush you out.
That Big Swig was doing an excellent job of keeping asphyxiation off the platform for the time being, but asphyxiation going in a last-ditch effort, and they go and take the platform with ease, throwing in that power clam and getting Red Leviathans 3 down once again, as they have now drained that basket down to below 60.
60 below and counting. Potentially these asphyxiation players are just not letting it go. Once they get something going, it's very hard for Red Leviathans to recover from it. And even now, 2 players down, 3 players down, the damage has already been done. 26 points and counting with a delayed wipe. Red Leviathans have a bit of a hill to climb out, but without now an additional wipeout and the power clamp open, this could be this big swing they need to get things moving back into a neutral state at the very least.
Red Leviathans needs to keep this push open if they want a chance to even go at that score that asphyxiation has put in. And they are doing an excellent job of feeding those clams in. We can see that Reef Slider go in, and unfortunately, that seems to be the end of the push, with the Big Swig being the last person in. Still throwing the clams in there, but unfortunately, Red Leviathan's push seems to be over.
An over push, but a very good push nonetheless, bringing you down from 138. It's nothing to laugh at. It brings this game back to a more even playing field for both teams, but really, it's going to be a toss-up right now in mid to see who's going to get this first opening pick to try and get the momentum going. The first pick does go to Red Leviathan, breaking open the asphyxiation, slowly trying to push them back as best they can, not for the 1-for-1 trade, but the dreaded hammer comes out from the backline and gets what I think 2 from here. Just utter madness in mid.
You gotta watch out for those hammers, especially on a map like you were saying last week that is so open in some spaces that Scorch Gorge is. A hammer could easily mean the death of your entire team if you're not careful. Red Leviathans is taking their time building those clamps up and making sure that they have enough, but unfortunately asphyxiation is going forward and not really caring anyways. With Red Leviathans going 2 down, asphyxiation is taking their space up in the mid with a total of 9 clams plus a power clam to their name at the moment. They break the barrier and they begin to chew through those points.
The barrier being broken, but not a lot of points got scored there. Only a measly 20 points got scored, and that was only through the penalty points. And now Red Leviathans are looking to try to rush in to try and see if they can counteract asphyxiation and a counter push, but no, it goes awry as 3 goes down and the last player jumps out. That's a virtual wipeout for them, being forced to reset back to their side of the map as we head to the final 50 seconds of this game. 2 power clams are on the asphyxiation side here. This could be very dangerous how this next team fight goes.
While Red Leviathans did have the idea of rushing the basket, they did not have the manpower nor the advantage state to back it up. Asphyxiation is still in control of most of the paint in mid, and they are going at that stamp again! They take through 3 of Red Leviathans down with that nigh impenetrable stamp, and they break the barrier once again, trying to get through that oh my goodness. They are almost down to 20 points there, as we can see that last clam come in, bringing them down to 18 points on that clam basket left until Asphyxiation wins. With only 7 seconds left, it's not looking good for Leviathan.
Not looking good, but we are going to be kicking it into overtime, which means Red Leviathans only have 30 seconds to try and make something happen in this stressful scenario, but the power clamp is dropped, meaning that Red Leviathan has to move to actually pick it up if they want to keep this overtime timer extended, and with 2 players down with asphyxiation, this is their opportunity to try and move at the very least to even get an inkling of a chance to try and get that power clamp down to the basket, but with no time left, asphyxiation manages to stall the timer out long enough to give this loss to Red Leviathan.
Unfortunate. They were just a little bit too far away from the clam basket to be able to dunk that power clam into it. And Asphyxiation takes their second win and the set.
Ooh, wow. That second game definitely was a lot closer than it was in the first game, but it is unfortunate that asphyxiation just proved to be too strong. That hammer was just an utter menace to them.
That hammer indeed was just absolutely insane. Taking down 2-3 team members at a time with every single hammer pick I think I saw on the screen there. That really shows you, if you know how to play the Splatoon, you know how to play it well, you can do some real damage to the other team.
Yeah, I mean, on top of that as well, the Red Leviathan's weapon comp just really didn't have any good answers to an approaching hammer. I mean, you have a Dread Ringer, you have a Gal, you have a Roller, you have a Rapid Blaster, very slow firing weapon rates that you just utterly cannot fight the hammer head on. It was just a matter of trying to play around the hammer as best you can, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem Red Leviathans can actually pull through against that, giving this set to asphyxiation.
Sometimes you are just a little dread ringer in the face of a giant stamp, and sometimes it does not work out for you very well.
I know the pain of a slow weapon against a hammer, but with that being said, that first set is just the beginning, so don't go anywhere just yet, folks. Take a bathroom break, get your snacks and water, do whatever you need to do. We'll be right back after this break.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are back at you with another best of 3 round here against Outcast and Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. And once again, I am joined by my buddy here, Dark.
It is me, Dark. But yeah, next game, round 2, game number 1, Mahi Mahi Resort Zones. I've said this countless of times in like the past 2 weeks because this map always ends up seeing to just be played at least once or twice or a few times in each tournament I catch. But the TLDR, what I like to say about this map mode specifically is that it doesn't become a real map until the water level drops. Whoever gets the first zone, typically anyways, can ride out their points until the 60 points, the 60-point mark, meaning those first 40 points are virtually free in most cases.
And we saw a lot of Mahi Mahi zones last week, so I'm very excited to see even more Mahi Mahi zones this week. It's a Mahi Mahi zones world, and we're just living in it. Honestly.
Honestly, I really do like watching Mahi Mahi. I never like playing it. I just
That's fair.
it's just so frustrating to actually play it, but being able to like watch it and like laugh at people who play on this map, you know, it brings it a whole different life. But you know, these teams are ready. I see a 10 umbrella on one side, and of course on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, nothing that I'm not already used to seeing.
Absolutely. We are going forward here. We see Outcast with, like you said, we have the tent. We've got a sword. I believe that's a dynamo roller as well. You rarely see those. Oh my goodness.
That dynamo pick is very interesting, but may not be putting in the work as of right now, as Triggerfish has the first zone. Not the first zone cap, but has the first big team fight win, and they're looking to try and lock Outcast as long as they can, as they keep picking off one member one by one. Technical online for Outcast, but it may not be enough, as Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is still holding on strong.
And Triggerfish Zones, like you said, still holding on strong, getting it down to a solid below 60 here. As we see the water level begin to drop, the map has changed, and Outcast is pushing forward as best as they can. But unfortunately, that 10 is being just challenged by 2 of Triggerfish zones. Outcast going 2 down there, and we can see that zone supremacy still has the zones capped.
Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is definitely not a team you want to mess around with. They are very, very well coordinated with their relatively strange weapon comp lineup, but it is proving in the work as only 4 ticks remaining, even though 2 players down for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Outcast has no opportunity to actually retake the zone. A wipeout and a lockout right then and there brings this first game very easily to Triggerfish Zone Supremacy.
Well, you gotta hand it to him. It might not be Triggerfish, but zone supremacy is in the name. It's the name of the game with these guys.
Yeah, zones. It would, looking at this as an outsider, it would make sense that the team called Zone Supremacy wins the first zones game that they play on. But I mean, other than just the funniest side, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy did a very well job of keeping Outcast just pretty much locked down and properly staggered. Outcast did have a few good moments here and there, but it just wasn't quite enough to break through just the constant aggression from Triggerfish.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate that Outcast got locked out so early and was unable to come back in. But as we are moving forward, we see Museum de Alfonsino Rainmaker on our second map of this match. And with those interesting weapon picks that we've been seeing, I'm not entirely sure who I'm feeling is gonna get this one.
Yeah, I highly respect the tent pick. I'm a blaster player first. I'm a tent player second. So any opportunity to see the tent is an opportunity that I will gladly take and commentate over. But Museum Dolphincino Rainmaker, it's a very the first checkpoint is so close to mid that most of the time it will go down regardless of what's happening in the game. So really, the main point of interest here is moving past the main spinners on each enemy platform, heading down to the ramp to that final checkpoint. How well you hold that is really going to dictate a lot of your tempo for a majority of this game.
Absolutely. Like you said, there are a lot of variables that go into these matches, and as we are beginning to move forward into the second match, let's see what we have here for our picks. We see that 10 and that Dynamo return, as it looks like there has not been much of a change in these weapons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone's stuck to their guns, going with what they feel is most comfortable, as both teams are just clashing in mid immediately. The shot on the right side trying to go for a cheeky flank, but it does not end well as 2 players are down for each side. 3 down for Outcast, only 2 left in mid for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, and with a wipeout, they're going to be able to get this first checkpoint with no contention whatsoever.
They absolutely do, as Mewtwo, that player that I know that was not Mewtwo, my apologies. As the player that just dunked that Rainmaker was the last remaining player on the field, which is an unfortunate situation for most. But Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is making it work as they are doing their best to. That brush is just going absolutely nuts on these guys as they push the Rainmaker forward. Down to 46. Outcast has control of their platform once again, but they are currently unable to get much of a hold on mid. Oh my goodness! It's Mewtwo over here with the sneaky Rainmaker going in, getting him down to 11 points. What an insane play!
I was gonna mention that I don't like how Outcast is playing so far forward without any proper eyes on the Rainmaker. I was so worried that someone will come in from behind and pick up the Rainmaker to get extra points, and that's exactly what happened. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is able to bring their points down to 11 and counting for their side. So Outcast definitely has a bit of a mountain to climb as they're trying to get ready for their first push to get that first checkpoint, but no, the Rainmaker is dropped.
Unfortunately, Outcast is unable to get it to the checkpoint. They're going forward, but met time and time again with the members of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Oh my goodness, they are just absolutely getting demolished here as Triggerfish Zone Supremacy once again has the Rainmaker. They are going forward, trying their best to take care of the members of Outcast before they push forward. They go one down on their side though, and they are in a bit of a stalemate here. As they, oh my goodness, people are going down on either side. There's 3 down on either side. And they lose the Rainmaker with Outcast being able to stop it and a wipeout. This is Outcast's chance to get forward and get that Rainmaker to the check.
This definitely is Outcast's chance to try and get something going here, but the Brush comes in and meets every single player from Outcast and just holds them there on the ramp, halting any potential push they had right then and there. Now Triggerfish Zone Supremacy has a Rainmaker popped and picked up, and then we're going to see exactly how they want to play out the remainder of this game. As with such a huge lead, they have every opportunity to play however aggressive or defensive they want.
We're seeing some very, very good Rainmaker carrying from everybody on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Unfortunately, they do go down. And once again, it is an absolute bloodbath in mid with Triggerfish Zones going 3 down as Outcast once again picks up the Rainmaker, only to be met by a Splat Bomb on that Trizuka, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that Charlotte player is definitely a menace that you have to watch out for, and Outcast is just not being able to keep up with the outstanding pressure from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. But with 3 down, this could be their opportunity to maybe rectify some of the damage that's been done. A 1-for-1 trade from the Brush and the Tenderbrella means that Outcast has the opportunity here to get that first dunk finally on that first checkpoint finally dunked down, and with almost a minute remaining and a few more players down on each side, it's going to be a battle to try and get that Rainmaker as far forward as they can.
Ooh! And then an immediate Splat Bomb directly to the Rainmaker means that Outcast was not able to bring it further. But the Tenderbrella has picked up the Rainmaker. They are hiding behind their tent, but unable to get past Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's defense here. As they go 2 down, Outcast is chased out of the platform.
With 48 seconds remaining, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy are ready to meet Outcast in mid and shut them down. And I don't think that's where you want to leave the Rainmaker, as if it's stuck there and no one can get it past it. It's just going to be a win for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Outcast has to pick it up if they have any possibility of winning that way. And with the Trizuka shut down, this could very well be the opportunity they need to try and get that Rainmaker going once again.
It is a Rainmaker reset, but it looks like Triggerfish Zone Supremacy has an early lead on that pop. They do get that pop and move forward into mid as they are doing their all to keep that Rainmaker out of Outcast's hands. And with only 8 seconds left on the board, it seems like Outcast is unable to find purchase on anything, which means that this will be going to Triggerfish Zone Supremacy.
Oh man, this skirmishing power from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is such a beautiful thing to see. Outcasts were constantly in these small little fights that kept the chaos going long enough for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy to get the picks they need to get their own ball going. They set the fights on their own terms and they won almost every single one of them. It's unfortunate that Outcast wasn't able to keep up with them.
Unfortunate indeed, but we do have to remember that Triggerfish Zone Supremacy was in the SAC Finals, and they are in the SAC Finals right now. The winner does get a Proving Ground spot in the Invitational, so it's not really surprising coming from a team like them.
Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is a powerhouse of a team, and there's only so much you can do with a team who has so much legacy, so much time together, so much just general knowledge. Outcast, well, I don't like saying stuff like this, which is unfortunately just outmatched in this game, but still a good showing nonetheless from Outcast. You did an extraordinarily well job against Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, and I do hope that you make it through at least to the later parts of this tournament.
And with that, we will once again be right back after this break. Make sure to get some water, get a snack if you need to, go to the bathroom. We're still gonna be here when you get back.
Get ready for the next battle. We're back once again for this not exact quite set here. My name's SPF Dark. I'm here with Convo, and we're getting ready for round number 3. As we see here, folks, it is unfortunate that our caster got sucked into the mix, but they are not actually playing here.
It happens.
Oh, sorry. I was drinking water because I thought he would carry on a bit more. No, it happens. Sorry. You're right. It does happen. Up first, here we have NFT and Art Roberts versus Wave Breaker.
And we are, in fact, in the quarterfinals now, so which means we are going to be switching over to the best of 5 format.
Best of 5 more good matches for you guys to show off, and for us to show up, and for you guys to watch. I mixed up my words here for a second, but I'm very much excited to see NFT Art Roberts. A very interesting name, versus Wavebreaker. As we mentioned, I'm not sure where let me check where we're starting off first here for our map list. There is our beautiful map list. Once again, it all comes back to Hagglefish zones.
What more could be said about Hagglefish zones that we haven't already said? It is such a map mode. It's quite an excellent, in my personal opinion, quite an excellent tournament map and mode. Especially, I'm very fond of splat zones. You heard it from me. You heard it from me here, folks. Splat zones and clam blitz, not crab blitz. What am I saying?
Crab blitz. That's the new game mode leaked here live under pressure. But yes, I do agree. I think nowadays, back in the day, Hagglefish Market zones used to be like my tip-top favorite zones map, but now it is sadly been overshadowed by Robo Ramen zones. But that's not even on the map list, so there's no point in talking more about that. First game in set number 3, I see a custom blaster, and I like blaster gaming, folks.
Indeed, Blaster Gaming. We are also seeing a Carbon Roller on the side of Wavebreaker, as well as a fairly standard comp from the NFT Art Robbers here. So we are pushing forward into that mid-neutral zone. Wavebreaker seems to have a little bit of the ink lead here, so they are fighting to cap the zone, but nothing quite to say yet.
Ooh, a close fight on the left side between the two rollers before NFT does manage to win out that fight, meaning they get the first. Even though Wavebreaker did get the first hold, and NFT is able to get a much stronger hold and footing here as they're slowly pushing Wavebreaker back. NFT slowly pushing them forward, playing the aggression, playing the lockout like we saw earlier in a previous set.
NFT just absolutely going ham on Wavebreaker's platform here. We see those strikes come out on both sides as Wavebreaker desperately tries to get back. Oh! We just both saw the same thing, right?
Yeah, that pencil from downtown managed to shut down that Zuka. It was a good, beautiful shot, but unfortunately, it does seem like that, what a nice shot it was. NFT Robbers are slowly losing this fight in mid, forcing back up just a bit as Wavebreaker takes mid, uses specials to take even more space to try and zone them out, but there's still a few left in NFT Robbers' side to try and to keep control of the zone, and they do manage to flip it back with the Killer Well Ink Strike combination.
Specials coming out from both sides constantly in this match here. With that triple splashdown, we can see that the zone is unfortunately not in Wavebreaker's control any longer, as NFT Art Robbers is just doing their best to try and keep a hold on that zone. They're in control once again, trying to eat through those points with those ink strikes coming out on either side. It is just an absolute bloodbath in mid here for this zone control.
Yeah, it is integral that NFT does not lose too much against Wavebreaker. With the weapon comp they're running, or that Weapon Cup Wavebreaker is running, they need to make sure that whatever holding that they have, they do not give anything to Wavebreaker. Because Wavebreaker, if you get properly set up with that Weapon Cup like that, it's so much more of a lockout than what NFT is already showing here. And luckily, they've been able to keep up using beautiful aim strikes to zone out Wavebreaker once again. 2 down from Wavebreaker as the rest of the NFT does come in back to mid, back to the zone to protect it. As they get yet another pick, strikes from Wavebreaker does try and neutralize the zone, but it's not going to be quite enough at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wavebreaker finds himself once again back on their platform, being pushed by NFT art robbers. That blaster was in an unfortunate pickle there, going down in a trade to the 52 gal on the side of NFT art robbers. We have Cooler up, though, on Wavebreaker's side, but they're going to need to go forward now in order to get that zone back into their control. And they've almost got it. They just need to captivate the 3 down, and unfortunately, that's game with NFT art robbers taking the first match of this best of 5.
A good opening match by both teams. NFT Art Robbers just did a wondrous job there. Wavebreaker just couldn't quite keep up with them, and it's exactly the kind of thing that NFT needed to do. Like I was mentioning earlier, with the weapon cup that Wavebreaker had, you got to make sure they don't get the opportunity to properly set up. So it was integral for them to lock out as well as they did there. It was such a great thing to see.
Absolutely. You're seeing the replays here of that the glorious first battle in mid, which I feel lasted like the entire game.
Yeah, there was a good, just long, sustained fight in mid. Even though there was like 1 or 2 moments where like there wasn't as much fighting in mid here, it definitely picked up as soon as there was anything. Once the players came back, it was just constant action back and forth. But man, oh man, what a first game that was in this set.
Ooh. It was just absolutely insane for a second there. I was having trouble keeping track of everything that was going on with those specials being popped left and right. So it was beautiful. Is what it was.
Yeah,
in its own very, very special way.
Yeah, there really was so much going on that it was like so hard to probably like keep track of like all the little things going on. But that's enough about that first game. Put that first game away. There's still potentially four more coming at you here. And up next we have Shipshape Cargo Company on Tower Control.
Ooh, that. Oh goodness. If you thought Hagglefish was a bad map for getting snowballed, just wait till you see Shipshape Cargo Co. on Tower Control. That is the snowballiest map to ever snowball, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, if there is a snowball, like the premier snowball map, it's this map mode here. Simply because the area leading past that first or second checkpoint to the final checkpoint, once you get past that checkpoint and start threatening the second checkpoint, that's when things start becoming dangerous. That second checkpoint's right under that ledge where it can be a bit hard to actually try to defend on if you have one of your enemy teams jumping onto the ledge onto your side of the map. It's a very slippery slope once you get to that part. So you gotta make sure you're defending that route as best as you can.
I feel like in a way, Shipshape Cargo Co. Tower Control is kind of like the antithesis to Manta Maria Tower Control. Where it's a bit of a harder fight in mid at first, but once you get past the first checkpoint on Shipshape Cargo Control, it's basically just an avalanche until you hit goal if you play well enough.
Mm-hmm.
And Manta Maria exists.
I mean, in my mind's eye, I think these two maps are more similar than you think. They very much have this same, like, the first, like, half of the map, of the tower control route really doesn't amount too much until you start threatening those final checkpoints. And then it becomes a very snowball-y scenario. But that's besides the point. Semantics. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is this action between MT Art Robbers and Wavebreaker. Already off to an explosive start for this tower to see who's going to get first control.
And as we are moving forward, it seems that Wavebreaker is taking a bit of a risk here. Unfortunately, they go 3 down. NFT Art Robbers coming forward into mid and immediately taking control of that tower. We see a delayed wipe on the side of Wavebreaker as they are just pushing forward with as much aggression as humanly possible here. I feel like they're just going all in on this.
And all it is what you want to see right here, as I mentioned, getting that first checkpoint early enough that it doesn't really matter. It goes down at the end of the day. But Wavebreaker does manage to hold on to that tower just long enough to get the rest of the NFT out of there and push back, especially using the Zuka to create even more space. Unfortunately, not finding a pick that they would like, as that tower does reset back to neutral. Wavebreaker moving up to try and claim more space to get ready for this next incoming attack.
And we can see that roller on NFT Art Robbers just absolutely going ham on Wavebreaker as they jump out. They are able to get 2 down. Unfortunately, it looks like those dualies on Wavebreaker go down as well. We see the strikes being thrown out here as NFT Art Robbers is preparing for their second push of the game. Unfortunately, they're not being able to find much of a purchase here as Wavebreaker seems to have them in a pretty tight spot.
Yeah, that Dualies is definitely doing its job in causing enough distraction for NFT that they can't actually get properly set up and going. And now it seems that Wavebreaker finally has the opportunity to try and push the tower and get a few points on their side. 2 down, break that 3 down. The Zuka, a beautiful shot from the Zuka to create even more space as that tower is now heading to that first checkpoint for Wavebreaker.
As Wavebreaker is going into that first checkpoint, we see a player over here trying to challenge the tower, but unfortunately they are unable to find any purchase on that. But we can see that Pencil throwing the cooler out as NFT Art Robbers now has control of the tower and has pushed Wavebreaker back out into neutral.
A good hold from NFT Art Robbers, not letting any momentum go for Wavebreaker, as now they're getting their own push going once again. But one does unfortunately fall for NFC. Another one goes down for Wavebreaker. It's currently tied right now, but with Ink Strike on the tower, it might be a shift for NFT Art Robbers once again, as 3 goes down for Wavebreaker, and with that first checkpoint this could be even more points heading their way if Wavebreaker doesn't act fast enough.
Oh my goodness, I'm pretty sure we are seeing that Carbon flanking right now, trying their best to get onto the tower and chase out NFT Art Robbers. I'm not even sure where they are at this point. There we go. We can see them right here. They're moving and grooving, trying their best to get any purchase, any picks. They do get an assist there on that middle spot of the 52. As they push down those Trizukas, they're unable to find anything there. This tower begins to move back into neutral position.
But as it goes back to neutral, NFT is ready there to catch the tower to push it back forward once again. And with only 39 points remaining, it may seem a lot at this point, but Wavebreaker has actually been doing a really good job of making sure that the tower doesn't snowball and spiral out of control. But that hold that they have on this tower may be slowly losing away as Wavebreaker are slowly getting scattered. There is a Carbon Roller all in the background who's not actively contesting the tower, who's now approaching that second checkpoint, that final checkpoint. Very hard to defend from, but 2 does go down for NFT, which is a huge swing for Wavebreaker.
Absolutely. We see that Whale coming out, trying to find those other members of the NFT Art Robbers. Oh my goodness! A jumping T-Tech there, I'm pretty sure. And that Carbon just absolutely going at each other's throats there in a trade. Wavebreaker manages to push the tower back into the neutral position, but NFT Art Robbers is back up and ready to try and push the tower as far as they can. There is a bubble on Wavebreaker's side of the tower, but not for long as it unfortunately goes down. And with 2 down on NFT Art Robbers, this could be Wavebreaker's chance to get the tower and push it farther.
They need any opportunity they can get right now with only 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and that first checkpoint still is not taken yet. Killer Will is going to definitely put a thorn on their side in their attempt to try and get that checkpoint done. But with 3 down, NFT Roberts just comes in and just knocks him out of the tower, even though unfortunately the last player from Wavebreaker barely misses the time call to get that overtime.
Unfortunate. And with NFT Art Robbers taking the second game here. We are going into match point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, match point already for NFT Art Robbers. Wavebreaker has to win these next 3 games if they still want to advance to the next round. It's going to be a bit of a tough thing to try and push through, especially with how NFT Art Robbers has been playing so aggressively, keeping Wavebreaker like constantly in a established state or just like constantly in a scattered scenario. It's such a tough thing to try and play against.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, it seemed like NFT Art Robbers was prepared for every single one of Wavebreaker's sneaky flanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and with a Carbon and those dualies, it is just very hard to keep track of both of them.
Yeah, Carbon and dualies is definitely a funny comp in my mind, just to be able to just be ratting all over the map. And speaking of ratting, what we see here coming up next for game number 3, Humpback Pump Track with Rainmaker. That's exactly the kind of strategies you want to abuse here.
Absolutely. And with a 52 in the playing field, that's a very good choice for Humpback Pump Track, especially on Rainmaker. So you can easily block off the little corridors with that splash wall and keep the other side out of the places that you don't want them to be. But we are once again at match point here with NFT Art Robbers, taking 2 of the games so far. Wavebreaker has to win this one to force them into a game 4.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an uphill battle for Wavebreaker. And NFT Art Robbers just has shown that they have a lot of the cards they need to just either stall out or outplay, or not necessarily outplay, but out-aggress whatever Wavebreaker is doing. It's been the last 2 games has been showing time and time again that Wavebreaker only barely managed to get like a few handful of points on their side before NFT Art Robbers just comes in and takes a mountain of points for their end. Humpback Pump Track may be the opportunity they could see to use to try implore, maybe just use those ledges to your advantage, to be cheesy, to be cheeky, and just like rat around as best you can, to use whatever advantage you can to try and take this win.
Absolutely. You said it more eloquently than I could ever put it.
I don't think that was eloquent, but I'll take the compliment. And now
we're getting the teams together here.
Patiently waiting, see exactly. I know both of these 2 teams are just making sure they take the time to properly talk through what it is that they're wanting to do and exactly what to expect. Humpback Pump Track is definitely a huge gameplay shift from the first 2 games we've seen, Haddlefish and Shipshape. It's definitely a bit of a mentality switch that you need going into this map. So some conversations need to be had to try and properly adjust to that.
Absolutely. I'm really hoping that we get to see that Carbon Roller back. As a fellow Carbon Roller player myself, I find that I enjoy Humpback Pump Track a lot when I'm playing Carbon.
One thing I always say about Humpback Pump Track is the fact that it really caters to 3 weapon classes the best, and that's blasters, buckets, and rollers. If you play any of those 3 weapons, you really like this map. And we see the Carbon Roller does come back on top with a Splat Roller from NFT.
I also see that Wavebreaker has opted to go with the Bamboozler. An interesting choice.
Honestly, I saw the Carbon Roller that overshadowed the Bamboozler pick in my brain.
You're like, oh, a roller, perfect. As we are moving into this 3rd match, we can see that Wavebreaker is trying their best to get NFT Art Robbers out of the way of the Rainmaker. That Carbon taking control of most of the paint job here as they are pushing in and being the little menace that Carbon Rollers were meant to be. But unfortunately, they do go down. Wavebreaker is 2 down as opposed to NFT Art Robbers just 1 down. This could be NFT Art Robbers' chance to push up and get the checkpoint as they begin to bring out those triple ink strikes.
Ink strikes being used to try and clear out some space, and it looks like it does eventually does get the job done. And with tactical are being thrown and ready to be used, they're gonna pick up the Rainmaker and try and make a break for it. And the Carbon Roller does unfortunately whiff the shots that they need to try and shut down that Rainmaker, as potentially this checkpoint is good as gone.
And they do indeed break through that checkpoint. And here is the little corridor that I was talking about, with that 52 on NFT Art Robbers side going to be very useful for them. We see that. Oh my goodness, so sorry. I just saw a shark on top of a wall explode. Wavebreaker does unfortunately go 2 down, but NFT 3 down. Pardon me, NFT Art Robbers does lose the Rainmaker temporarily, but they are just pushing forward and trying their best. We see the 2 sharks over here on the corner, just trying to outshark each other, but unfortunately, they do miss that shot, and the Rainmaker does return to the control of Wavebreaker.
With a proper reset now employed, Wavebreaker are looking to try and at least get this Rainmaker out of their side of the map and push as far forward as they can, but it does not unfortunately go that far as the Rainmaker is dropped. Wavebreaker's forced to just slow down and hold mid as best they can. Look, see exactly if there's going to be any flanks. The one does come in for the backline from NFT Robbers to try and just create some mayhem, create some havoc as this roller is just in deep behind Wavebreaker.
I was wondering, I was like, what is this roller doing? What that roller was doing, like you said, was creating a distraction. Wavebreaker still has no idea that that roller is down there. Unfortunately, the roller does go down eventually, with Wavebreaker getting the reset on that Rainmaker. Oh my goodness, Wavebreaker's Rainmaker. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Yeah, no, I noticed that as soon as like halfway through this game already, how like the Wavebreaker and Rainmaker are definitely like too close that I could easily mix them up already. It seems like Wavebreaker though losing 2 players out on mid, meaning NFTR Robbers are looking to try and get some even extra points if they can. One does go down for NFTR Robbers as Wavebreaker just meets them in that right angle to try and slow down that Rainmaker as best they can, but it may not be a matter of slowing them down, but just trying to get that Rainmaker out of their hands. As we had 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, they have to be able to get that Rainmaker if they want any chance to try and win this.
And NFT Art Robbers is holding on to that Rainmaker for dear life. They are not letting that Rainmaker go for anything under the sun, save for what I fear to be quite a bunch of lasers, but they do still manage to take hold of that Rainmaker. That Trizuka coming out and immediately sniping the Rainmaker from NFT Art Robbers, but Wavebreaker is still 2 down.
A beautiful art from the Ingzuka shuts down that Rainmaker, but unfortunately, the matter of the fact is that Rainmaker still are not in a good position right now. They're still stuck in their side of the map. The Rainmaker is still in NFC Art Robbers' possession, and even though Tactical is online for them, they're slowly getting picked off one by one, and now the Rainmaker just barely gets dropped. 30 seconds remaining for this game. NFT Art Robbers has every card in their hands to just stall this out if they want the guarantee to win this.
And stalling them out they are, with a fight being picked in mid. It just seems like Wavebreaker is completely unaware that the Rainmaker is beside them, just waiting to pop. They have not picked it up yet. There's only 5 seconds left on the clock. The Bamboozler picks it up with 2 seconds to spare as they begin their slow march forward. They're absolutely gonna need... Oh my goodness. I wasn't even done with my spiel.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate thing that Wavebreaker were unfortunately caught in a checkmate there at the end of the game. There was one player going in from in front of them to try and get the Rainmaker popped out, and everyone turned their attention to that player rushing the Rainmaker. But there was a second player from NFT that came in from behind to be able to just play around with the Rainmaker when attention was pulled away from them, and able to just get that shutdown, just snuffing the possible overtime win.
Unfortunately, that means that Wavebreaker will will be going to the losers bracket, and NFT Art Robbers is going to be moving forward as they cleanly sweep Wavebreaker, I should say.
A clean sweep, and maybe NFT art robbers. Wavebreaker still did a good job just holding out for as long as they did and playing how they did. Nothing to be ashamed from, because eventually someone loses at this point in the tournament, and then now it's up to you to try and pick yourself up and keep on moving in losers bracket. But man, oh man, what a good set that was! And with that being said and done, we gotta get our next set up and ready. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks. Get the bathroom break, get your snacks and water, do whatever it is you need to do. We'll be right back after this quick break for our next set.
welcome back everybody to the semifinals. We have something special for you tonight. We are doing the double header, double semifinals. The first semis we are going to be looking at here are the previous teams, NFT Art Robbers versus Oven Bakes Pie.
Double header, double semis. I'm very excited to see exactly how this set's going to be played out from both sides. We know how NFT Art Robbers just played. We just see them on our side here, and I'm excited to see what Evan Bakes Pie has in store for us that brought them this far, especially with our first map mode being Splat Zone's Crab Lab Capital.
Absolutely. I feel like you don't really see crab leg capital zones much.
Yeah, it's really just, I only see the crab leg clams be played a lot. I hardly ever see zones played at all.
I can't tell you the last time I saw crab leg zones be played actively. We are moving on up and moving forward, though, as we can see, we have the classic comp on the side of Oven Bakes Pie. We see something a little interesting there with a stamp on the side of NFT Art Robbers, which we did not see in the previous match.
That stamper definitely has me looking in a curious manner as NFT Art Robbers are looking. You get their opening going of Makes Pie, even though they did get the first pick on their side. Unfortunately, they did manage to hold strong and long enough to be able to get this zone a lead in and going. But 2 down from the Splatana means that NFT Art Robbers just gets that splat zone once again, and they're looking to just flush out Oven Bakes Pie as best they can.
Absolutely. We are just seeing a back and forth zones bonanza here, I fear, as NFT Art Robbers has major control of the zone. Oven Bakes Pie goes 2 down for just a little bit, but everybody is back up, and NFT Art Robbers still has control of the zone. Oven Bakes Pie needs to jump in and do the best that they can to take control of the zone as we are going down below 50.
Yeah, time is slowly ticking away from them. NFT Art Robbers has such a good hold here, especially with another pick on their side. Evan Bakes Pie are unfortunately stuck on their plan, not able to push through this constant oppression from NFT Art Robbers. Hopefully using that tri-strike to try and create some space and create enough of a distraction for them to be able to push in. And with that Splatana Stamper canceled out, Evan Bakes Pie does get the splat zones flipped and giving a hefty penalty for NFT Art Robbers.
Oven Bakes Pie does go 2 down, though, so we see NFT Art Robbers retaking that zone and doing their best to move through that penalty. Oh my goodness, that pencil going absolutely nuts there on the side of Oven Bakes Pie, taking down one of the members of NFT Art Robbers as both sides go 2 down. Oven Bakes Pie is once again in control of the zone. They've moved through that penalty, but not for long as those strikes come out, and NFT Art Robbers takes control of the zone once again.
A good trade from the pencil and the Splatana Stomper means that the game is still currently at an even standstill right now. Oven Bakes Pie just trying to play whatever card they have in their hand to get advantage, and they finally do get that advantage once again as the zone is capped. They are through with their penalty points, and they're taking away at their actual points as NFT Art Robbers are starting to get staggered a little bit here.
They are indeed starting to get just a bit staggered, as we can see that Oven Bakes Pie is taking this to their advantage. That whale is coming out from everywhere, but not finding the Sharking player on their side.
Yeah, Sharking player could be the key here to try and hold on for this as long as they are, and they do manage to hold on, getting that one important pick off of the gal, as Oven Bakes Pie still holds strong over the zone, as NFT Art Robbers are now struggling to at least contest the zone, finally be able to capture it, as they give Oven Bakes Pie a hefty 40-point penalty out the gate.
And as NFT Art Robbers takes the zone once again, Oven Bakes Pie 2 down. They're trying their best to work through, like you said, that was a very hefty penalty point on either side that they have to work through. Those specials coming out from every single angle on Oven Bakes Pie. With NFT Art Robbers losing control, those sodas are out, and they do take back the zone, giving NFT Art Robbers another hefty 40-point penalty. Oh my goodness! That Zipcaster just barely saving their skin after falling from the building.
That misplay from the Zipcaster definitely saved Oven Baked Pie some headaches there, as they're still able to hold on to this zone, pushing NFC Art Robbers back bit by bit, especially with another pick on the side. Ink Strike's using to try and neutralize the zone for the very least, and it does get neutralized for a little bit. The Splatoon does come in for a deep aggression front to back, and they get one pick, they get two picks. Oven Baked Pie is sent back to the respawner, as there's just this lonely shark left hanging on the left side of this map, as NFC Art Robbers are actually putting their back to the shark.
Unfortunate for that lonely shark out there, but the rest of their team, oh, they do go down. That's sad. The rest of their team is coming in as best as they can, but NFT Art Robbers is almost 10 points away, as it seems like Oven Baked Pie here is making an effort to cap the zone. They do manage to cap the zone, giving a 37-point penalty to NFT Art Robbers.
But at this point in this game, the penalty is not going to matter at all, as we're heading into overtime, or most likely going to be heading into overtime, but no, NFC Art Robbers just comes at the last moment and takes the zone, meaning they take this first game off of Oven Baked Pie!
We saw some very incredible takes on either side of that first match there, with NFT Art Robbers taking the first match of the the double header double semifinals. Jeez.
Oh yeah, try saying that 2 times in the past. Double header double. You know what? I give up on that bit. Anyways, NFT Art Robbers did a wonderful job keeping Oven Baked Pie pushed back as long as they did, giving them such a huge point advantage early in the game. But Oven Baked Pie was actually beginning to pull through a lot of what NFT Art Robbers was throwing at them, was able to hold on for a lot longer than NFT Art Robbers might have expected. And now there was a close, almost overtime scenario there at the end, before NFT Art Robbers were barely able to manage to get that zone flip in the nick of time.
And with that first match done, we are going to be moving into our second match here, which is a bit of an awkward map mode combination, I should say here, as we are going right into Undertow Spillway Rainmaker.
Undertow Spillway Rainmaker is literally the only reason why this map gets brought up. Any other zone, any other mode, you're not going to see it. Zones, Clan Blitz, Tower Control, well, maybe Tower Control, but that's even on a more rare occasion than Rainmaker Undertow. Undertow Spillway is such a thin map, and it's just really, as you mentioned, a very awkward thing to try and properly play around, but it does have a few merits, and being one of the premier left-right routes to get that first checkpoint down, it still seals some play regardless of that.
I was just about to bring up the left-right checkpoint plays that we have experienced firsthand that Undertow Spillway Rainmaker is known for. And as we are just moving into this match, I am excited to see what both of these teams have to offer on, like I said, such an awkward map like this.
Yeah, an offer. We do see the heavy-headed come instead of the pencil over on Oven Baked Pie, and a bit of an also bigger switch up from NFC Art Robbers, running 2 splatter shots on their side.
2 splatter shots, and that Stamper is once again out and about. Oven Baked Pie over here taking as much of a chance as they can. Unfortunately, that 52 does manage to go down to that Trizuka that was on their side, but NFT Art Robbers does go 2 down. You can see that Roller is leading the way for the charge as Oven Baked Pie picks up the Rainmaker, and they are going for the left.
A good opening by NFC Art Robbers just quickly crumbled away as Oven Baked Pie gets a double in mid and is able to convert that to the first checkpoint down within the first spent 45 seconds of this game, and with that first checkpoint down, they're actually going to be respect NFT Art Robbers as they're backing up a bit to try and get ready for a counter push from their side. But no, one player's still holding strong. They can't push it far enough that they're able to get the Rainmaker, and maybe even a few extra points on top of that.
They do manage to get that Rainmaker all the way down to 46, which was an incredible play by that lone 52 there, while the rest of their team was not with them. And Oven Bakes Pie is back in that area, but unfortunately pushed out by those triple ink strikes as they need to find another way into play.
Triple ink strikes flushing Oven Bakes Pie out, and now that Rainmaker is looking to get ready to reset here in any moment now, as two are down for Oven Bakes Pie, forced back up a bit more than they would like, and MC R is moving up to mid, using ink strikes to clear space once again and potentially get their own push going. But no, a 1-for-1 trade on the right side of the map means that both teams are just have to play it a stalemate here once again. One additional player goes down for MTR Robbers, two down. The last player in here in mid is the Sultana Stamper, and they do unfortunately get one before getting eventually picked out.
Oven Bakes Pie going two down in that exchange there. We can see I believe, yes, okay. Sorry, I had to confirm something really quick there. NFT Art Robbers does have the majority of the paint control on this map at this point, but Oven Bakes Pie is protecting that left checkpoint with their life. It seems like NFT Art Robbers doesn't quite have an avenue to go in anywhere yet, but they do immediately go for the right checkpoint, and they do manage to break that check before going two down.
That first checkpoint going for NFT Art Robbers is big here, as if they win the proper team fight, that right route can get them easily past mid, especially with two players down for Oven Baked Pie and NFT Art Robbers. That Rainmaker still on the right side, doing the best they can to try and make sure no one picks up the Rainmaker again, and Oven Baked Pie succeed in that attempt. The Rainmaker now reset back to mid, meaning NFT Art Robbers are back to the drawing board to see exactly what's going to be happening next, especially with two down from the roller.
Two down from the roller combo here. We can see NFT Art Robbers is just retreating as best as they can, putting down that cooler for a better chance at getting those wins out on the battles in mid. That pencil falling back all the way to their spawn to try and get some get into a defensive position against Oven Bakes Pie. But Oven Bakes Pie does go two down, and they once again move forward into mid.
Two down for Oven Bakes Pie, and with only 14-point differential between these two teams, this lead could easily shift here if Oven Bakes Pie is not careful here, doing everything they can to hold on to this right side for themselves. They're just slowly getting picked off one by one. A 1-for-1 trade. This Sultana Stamper does jump out, meaning that they can get the extra space to work with, and with the bubbler and the killer well in use, it forces NFC to back up just a bit, but the extracts creates chaos, creates havoc, but forcing Oven Bakes Pie to respect it, especially with the tactical and their own specials. The back and forth specials being used from both sides, and this crowd trying to take the lead, but fortunately for Oven Bakes Pie, they do get that pick in the nick of time.
Getting that pick in the nick of time was excellent, but NFT Art Robbers are not done with their push yet, as Oven Bakes Pie goes two down, and the others of NFT Art Robbers go forward, and they do take the lead, and they're going forward, and they go down all the way to 28.
28 points remaining, and they're still going. They're just getting a few extra points, and those few extra points could be the big difference here. Tactical or online to get that Rainmaker. 15 seconds remaining. We most likely will be seeing overtime here, meaning that if once overtime hits, the Oven Baked Pie only have 45 seconds to take their 46 points down to 17 points remaining. Tri-Strike's not going to make this opening push easy, as they're slowly inching forward, using whatever card they have in their hand to just make that advantage happen.
They're absolutely doing their best. It is quite a bloodbath in mid right now, as we can see Oven Bakes Pie trying their best to clear the path for that Rainmaker to come through. There's only 30 seconds left before that Rainmaker explodes, and the Sultana comes in, but unfortunately he's unable to find a pick. That Rainmaker being forced back by those strikes. The roller is pushing forward, though, trying to find purchase and make sure that that Rainmaker goes forward. Unfortunately, the roller does go down, and the Rainmaker is being threatened, but they do live, and unfortunately, they go down because of a Trizuka.
That came down to the wire there at the end. overtime nerves is such a menace to you, and when you're at that scenario where they were up in Big Pie, we're backed into a corner. Only 10 seconds remained on that right meter before it exploded in your own hand, meaning you were gone for regardless. It was just a matter of trying to make a breakaway to potentially get those extra points, or just let fate take its course right then and there. It's unfortunate NFT Art Robbers were the ones who managed to take control of that situation.
Absolutely. That early lead from Oven Bakes Pie really had some hope for them there, but NFT Art Robbers outplayed them time and time again, being able to easily group up and take those advantage states as they popped up with increasing speed and just absolute skill.
Man, oh man, and now we're sitting at match point for NFT Art Robbers. Oven Bakes Pie has to win these next 3 games and has any chance of trying to make it on to the finals here. And game number 3, Museum Delfonsino Clan Blitz. It might be a little bit of a difficult game. Museum Delfonsino has historically hard to push up to get any points going.
And especially on Museum D'Alfonsino Clan Blitz, it's quite a battle to get anywhere near that basket since it's so pushed back up against the spawn point there. But as we move in here, I see that we haven't had much of a comp change, except for the fact that I noticed the 52 has switched to a shot.
On Evan Big's Pie, the heavy is switched back to the pencil, as now both of these two teams are making a play for mid to see exactly who can get that first pick, who can get the first opening advantage play to try and get momentum going. Ink tries to use to create some space for them, and it's a 1-for-1 trade for each side. Not exactly the opening that you would not want to play against, as we see specials being used left and right for Evan Big's Pie. Now they have the advantage. Now they're moving in to get those clan economy going.
And with those sodas up on Oven Bakes Pie, it is just a matter of time before they can zoom into their area and being able to overtake NFT Art Robbers. But unfortunately, it is just an absolute bloodbath out there. And NFT Art Robbers does go 2 down, which this means this could be Oven Bakes Pie's chance to move forward and be able to push as best as they can with all of the clams that they have collected. They have a total of 21 clams currently, as opposed to NFT Art Robbers 3.
We could also be very well seeing the tried and true classic from Clan Blitz of it being a 5-minute stall fest, as once one team has something going on for themselves, it's immediately shut down by the other team, and it's back to a neutral game. Both of these two teams have been playing it out mid. Oven Bakes Pie does have the clan advantage here, but it's such a struggle against NFT Art Robbers to get anything going that they're just constantly forced to back up and constantly forced to respect the aggression from NFT Art Robbers. And we see here back and forth trades, specials being used left and right. It's just utter madness here, but NFT Art Robbers does finally get the breakthrough they need.
With Oven Bakes Pie going 3 down, NFT Art Robbers is building a clam on the platform as we speak, but unfortunately they are forced to throw that clam out for just a second, and they do go down before they are able to put that clam in the basket, with Oven Bakes Pie showing an awesome defense against the invaders that NFT Art Robbers were on their plat.
Awesome defense is just the beginning of how to explain it. A 3-down scenario for Oven Bakes Pie, and now they are recovered and are actively pushing NFT Art Robbers back to their side of the spawn. The 1 does go down for Oven Bakes Pie, meaning NFT Art Robbers are slowly encroaching back to mid. 2 down for Oven Bakes Pie means that NFT Art Robbers are wanting to try and push back even further. More players getting picked down left and right. Tactical are online, but it may not be of much use as there's only 1 player left, and that's a shot who is still stuck in spinner right now. Interest being used to try and clear out spinner as best they can. The splatter shot, somehow managed to just narrowly avoid those 2 ink tracks in the midst between both of them. There's just utter madness this game.
And while NFT Art Robbers did have the chance to go up there, they did not have a power clam built in time to be able to push that basket. And Oven Bakes Pie is once again back on the ground and ready to fight as they unfortunately go 1 down. NFT Art Robbers going forward, they now have control of the clam economy with 14 clams as opposed to Oven Bakes Pie's 0. But they still do not have purchased quite yet. But Oven Bakes Pie does go 2 down, with most of the paint control being in the favor of NFT Art Robbers. It is only a matter of time before they try again. With those triple ink strikes going down, we can see that Power Clam is starting to approach the basket.
Only 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. It's only a matter of time before one player from these teams will break and just collapse the remainder of the team as the pressure is building up higher and higher. 1 down for NFT, 1 down for 2 down for Oven Bakes Pie. It's still unclear who can get the proper advantage going. 1 minute remaining. No clams have been scored, but NFT Art Robbers has the majority of the clams on the field right now. As we look, they're desperately trying to get their push going. The roller does get a 1-for-1 trade out in mid. It's going and going and going, back and forth fights for these teams, and no one can get anything going off of the other.
Like you said, sometimes Clam Blitz is just a 5-minute clam fest here, and we are seeing that live as Oven Bakes Pie and the NFT Art Robbers have not scored, like you said, a single clam in this entire match. They are just going back and forth, trying to pick each other off, and neither team has been able to really find a good advantage point here as we're nearing the last 30 seconds of the match. NFT Art Robbers does have the clam advantage here with a total of 29 clams on their side. Make that 30. We have 3 power clams on the side of NFT Art Robbers, but nothing to show for it just yet as that platform is being so heavily guarded by Oven Bakes Pie. They are unable to push in.
3, 4 down, what a wipeout in the last possible second! That's not what you want to see as Oven Bakes Pie giving the win for the TR Robbers! That's just such an unfortunate scenario for them! Oh no!
Oh my goodness! NFT Art Robbers waited and waited a total of 5 minutes for that advantage to work out in their favor. And with that wipeout in the last 30 seconds, they took that advantage and they used it, getting the win and moving forward. Oh my goodness.
5 minutes was the entirety of that game. And I mentioned, as the game went on, it's only a matter of time before someone cracks under the pressure and the game is cracked wide open. What I did not expect is for that crack to happen within the final 10 seconds of this game that leads into a wipeout, giving NFT Art Robbers just the win without any contestant there. That's gotta sting for Oven Bakes Pie. You were doing so well keeping up with NFT Art Robbers, but you lost it at the very end when it mattered the most.
An unfortunate scenario for Oven Bakes Pie as they do move on into the losers bracket with NFT Art Robbers moving forward. Oh my goodness, what an explosive Clam Blitz match there at the very end. The last 10 seconds of that match was insane.
Yeah, it really just was a series of unfortunate plays being made right back to back that caused that to happen. It's such a... Oh, that's gotta sting, man. But man, oh man, what a game and what a set that was. But we mentioned that we have a doubleheader for you guys, so we're not going to break, as a matter of fact. We're heading straight for our next semis match. Retro Records versus Triggerfish Zone Supremacy.
We did see earlier Triggerfish Zone Supremacy and how they fought during those matches. And they are back and ready for more, going up against Retro Records here at the second half of the semifinals doubleheader. We are once again going into Crab Leg Capital Splat Zones.
You know, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. It's in the name, so it may not be much of a contest of who wins this first game, but I'm not sure what Retro Records has in store for us tonight, but they made it this far, so I know that they have something to at least a good showing against Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Crab Leg Capital Zones. I'm very much excited to see this explosive first match.
Absolutely. And just as a reminder for our chat here, both of the teams on the screen right now are SAC finalists. So we're going to be seeing some very, very, very intense gameplay from the two of them, and I'm personally excited.
A very intense game, and a bit of a preview as to what some might expect here, or not here, but at the SAC later on in the month or the year. Next weekend, as I'm told by the voices in my head. So if you want to see these two golf again, make sure to keep an ear out for the SAC. But we're not here to promote the SAC. We're here for Prism Break, Record Records versus Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. I'm eager for this match.
Eager indeed, as we are loading up Triggerfish Zones, getting in that classic strange team comp that they have that works so well for them, as we see a sloshing machine on their side, with Retro Records seeming to go for a more standard build with the addition of the Gluga dualies as well. And it works out for them in the first couple of seconds here as they have the first cap of the zone. They unfortunately do go 2 down, with Triggerfish Zone Supremacy taking the zone right back from them.
This is a bit of a repeat as we saw from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy from earlier, and the enemy team did get the first opening flip as well as a decent opening, but Triggerfish Zones were able to back up a bit, lose the battle, and win the war, and just completely push the enemy team back. And we see the exact same thing happening here. Retro Records are unfortunately being forced and staggered by Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. The aggression is just unmatched here as they keep going down one by one, 45 ticks and counting already.
We are seeing some incredible plays from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy on this zone's map, which, as I said earlier, it's in the name, folks. Zone Supremacy is just taking over the zone. But they do go 2 down, unfortunately. A bit of a commentator's curse there, as Retro Records does take control of the zone, but at the cost of 2 of their own players.
Taking the zone once again means that they handed Triggerfish Zone Supremacy a hefty penalty points on their side, and now Retro Records are slowly gearing up for their own offensive, keeping Triggerfish Zones out as long as they can. And it seems to be working here. Killer will use by Triggerfish Zones to scatter Retro Records, opening up any player from them for any other player from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, as the Inkzuka comes out and gets 2 off of that single shot, I think! What is Trizuka?
And Triggerfish Zones has once again taken control of the zone, moving through that point penalty as they are being aggressive and pushing forward into Retro Records spawn here, but unfortunately it doesn't seem they have much of a purchase to go on as they retreat back into mid. We see there's a little bit of a fight here in the pit between 2 players, but Retro Records does go 2 down right after Triggerfish Zones go 2 down, and Retro Records down to 3 down, but Triggerfish Zones has worked through their point penalty and they are now 10 points remaining from winning.
At this point, I don't think there's much Retro Records can do. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy does it again, just keeping their enemy team locked out and just constantly scattered, constantly staggered, not letting them any opportunity to get the zone once they get a good holding. That is a very, very dominant showing on the first match.
Very, very dominant showing indeed. And like I said earlier, it's in the name, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, being good at splat zones, folks. We are seeing it here with that incredible first and last plays. They just absolutely sandwiched Retro Records there. They were just unable to find an answer to how coordinated Triggerfish Zones was.
That it really is an amazing thing to say, but that's not to completely write out Retro Records though. They did find 1 or 2 moments to keep Triggerfish Zones knocked back quite enough to get a few additional points on their side, but we're gonna see exactly if they can repeat those successes again on Undertow Spillway Rainmaker.
Undertow Spillway Rainmaker we saw in the last match was a bit of an intense one here, and that's just going to be absolutely amplified by these 2 very good teams duking it out in this spillway.
Now, game number 2. Both of these 2 teams are ready up. No major changes from either side, as they are just going to be gunning it for the Rainmaker. See who can get the first pop and see who can get the opening advantage. First pop goes for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy.
Triggerfish Zone Supremacy popping that Rainmaker in under 10 seconds. They absolutely know what they're about. They unfortunately do go one down as Retro Records Splat Dualies is skirmishing left and right, trying their best to get any sort of pick. They do go against that brush, and unfortunately they do go down. Retro Records 2 down. Triggerfish Zones has the Rainmaker, and they are pushing forward unimpeded.
I think that's pretty much a delayed wipe there from Retro Records. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy are just utterly keeping this aggression going, and the Rainmaker picked up once again. 3 down for Retro Records. I don't think anyone can stop this Rainmaker dunk. I think that was a sub-minute Rainmaker.
Sub-minute Rainmaker game from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. They got the ball rolling, and they absolutely smushed Retro Records with that ball. That was an incredible game there. Oh my goodness. We didn't even have time to commentate most of that.
I genuinely, I know of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy and how well they can play. And Retro Records, they're SAC finalists. I know they have the tools against them to pull out beautiful things, but this, I've never seen anything like this in a long while. But just being able to take that Rainmaker down to that first checkpoint and keeping Retro Records properly staggered for another triple, that's beautiful.
That was indeed very beautiful there. It was just a blink and you'll miss it match. I do believe that absolutely it was a 51-second Rainmaker match, as we can see here. They popped the Rainmaker on that podium at the 09 mark, as we are moving in now to Museum de Alfonsino Clam Blitz, which last match was an absolute clam fest. 5 minutes straight of just Clam Blitz. You love to see it. It happens more often than you'd think.
Yeah, at this caliber, I genuinely would not be surprised if we saw a repeat once again of just a 5-minute stall fest where nothing really happens in terms of points, for it only to explode in the final few seconds or in overtime. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy has been very strong against Retro Records so far, but this is Retro Records' chance to actually try and bring the tides back to their name. This is the chance for them to get things swinging back into their favor.
Indeed it is, as we are getting geared up and ready to move into this set point match here. We are just bursting in, and I'm not even sure if we're going to get any sort of comp change here, and it looks like there's a brush on both sides here. As is typical for a Clam Blitz match, I'd say.
Yeah, I think most of us are pretty burned by the solo Q brush and on Clam Blitz of just going and being a rat all over the map. But already a 1-for-1 trade from 2 different fights within the first 15 seconds of this game. This is just going to show you exactly what kind of game we're going to be watching here today. Tacticooler out for Retro Records, but they are 3 down. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy are once again just dominating against them in the early game.
Absolutely. Retro Records taking a hard hit, but Triggerfish Zone Supremacy goes 3 down, and Retro Records is collecting clams as we speak. They do not have a power clam built up just yet, but Triggerfish Zones is back, and they are ready to defend.
A good defense so far. 2 down from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, 2 down from Retro Records. It's just an utter chaotic mess on that spinner. But it does seem like Retro Records were able to recover fast enough before any damage could be done. But we do see here, Retro Records are just slowly just waiting, biding their time, getting an integral pick before getting traded out on their own. I genuinely have no idea what side we're on the map anymore at this point.
I don't even know which side of the map we are on either, but honestly, that is the fun of it all, as Retro Records is just, they are just winning trade after trade. Triggerfish Zone's winning trade after trade. Retro Records has 12 clans as opposed to Triggerfish Zone's now 7. Triggerfish Zone's going 3 down. This is Retro Records' chance. They do have the power clan, but they are unable to get up onto that platform as Retro Records goes 2 down. in the time that it takes Triggerfish zones to respawn.
Yeah, I genuinely, if it wasn't for that Splattershot player who there to be the only player to defend that, I definitely think Retro Records would have had the chance to get some points going. But no, a beautiful hold from that lone Splattershot player means that Retro Records are forced to back up once again. Triggerfish Zones of Supremacy are at the aggression once again, just to see exactly if they can get their own push going for once. But no, it's a one-off pick from their side once again. Retro Records does not want to let any breathing room for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, especially since they are starting to get them on the back foot.
And on the back foot they are going indeed, as we can see that shark go in, and unfortunately they do not find anybody to explode there. As Retro Records goes 3 down, Triggerfish Zone's pushing forward with as much speed as they can muster. They have a power clam on that brush, and the brush is going forward, and they dunk the power clam into Retro Records' basket. And the clams keep coming, folks.
A beautiful opening from the brush, followed by just the alley-oop from the remaining members of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, means that they're able to take their score for 35 points and counting. Their pressure is still going, and if Retro Records are not careful enough, this could very well be 100-0, 14 points remaining. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy still have control of the spinner. The Ringslider does come out to try and clear them out, but no, 8 more points, 5 more points, 2 more points, and that's gonna be game with just a single push!
100 points in a single push. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy showing Retro Records what they were made of. Oh my goodness, they saw that advantage. They took it, and they took it to the extreme, with Triggerfish Zone Supremacy sweeping Retro Records off their feet.
Man, oh man, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy are looking to be a very much of a tyrant here this week on Prism Break. Is there anyone in this bracket who can stand up against them? It's a very hard thing to tell right now, but Retro Records, they did a wonderful job in the early game of actually keeping Triggerfish Zone Supremacy backed up to their side of the map for a good chunk of that game.
Triggerfish Zone Supremacy here is just really, really going for it. They are not afraid to show the other players here who the boss is, and it seems like they have a really good chance of getting these finals in the bag.
Man, oh man, not only was that a good set, but what a good showing our block was. There were so many good teams that came out today and showed us exactly what they're made of, and wow, I really enjoyed seeing all both of these teams, not both of these teams, but all these teams who played out today that we were able to watch.
Absolutely. Our block has been a really fun one tonight. We've been seeing a lot of really, really good matches, but don't even go away yet. We have even more matches for you coming up soon, but I do believe that our block is over and done, Dark.
It is unfortunately is over for us, but like you mentioned, we do have more games for you here tonight, folks. This is just the halfway point. If you thought that set was exciting, just wait till we see how the remainder of these sets are going to be going as we try and figure out who can actually come up against Triggerfish Zone Supremacy here. But Carnival, as we give our closing thoughts, anything you want to add, anything you want to plug in for yourself?
Honestly, absolutely not. I have been having such a great time here tonight. As you can see on the screen, catch me on my Blue Sky, catch me on Discord. You'll see me around in many tournaments commentating. And even I'm commentating for Under Pressure on Friday for From the Ink Up. So come and join us then, and you can see more of me then.
Yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that too, because I am also doing From the Ink Up with you this Friday, so if anything, come back for that. But also, I'm just a guy who goes around and commentates as much as I can. You'll see me from here at Under Pressure, from the CCA, from Student Attorney, Down Productions. I'm all over the place. You'll hear my voice at least once a week somewhere. But as for where you can find me, SPF_Dark, Twitter, Discord, Blue Sky, most socials, Twitch, you can find me there. But with that being said and done, Carnival, that's going to end up our wrap. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys. But don't go anywhere just yet. We have our next set, and our next block coming out to you after this break. So take your bathroom break, take your snacks and waters. Don't go anywhere just yet, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi there, everyone. It's Hirisu here, and I'll be commentating with.
Hello, I am Topic, of course. As always, bit of a different group of commentators coming up for you, but we are back with our winners finals. We have a classic. Everyone knows them. Everyone mostly loves them. We have Sugarfish Zone Supremacy, and on the other side, we have NFT plus art robbers. Now, my question is, are they robbing NFTs plus art, or is it NFT art robbers? Which one is it?
I don't know. Yep.
You know?
I mean, I'm going to assume it's art robbers and NFTs is what they're implying, but yeah. Okay, we have the maps. That is. Okay, we can see them. Okay, so we're starting off on Umami Ruins zones, which feels like a pretty good start. Nothing too like favoring towards one comp style. You know, you can see a lot of different things here.
I think mainly this is also one of my favorite Tetris pieces in the game, the Z-shaped Tetris piece. It's very good, but overall, this is a 2-zone map, and as everyone knows, if you play on this map, you gotta get top mid. You get top mid, you're good to go, because if you get top mid, you have access to not only both zones, you have access to the enemy courts, you have access to silo, you have access to the ramp leading up to spawn. Not leading up to spawn, but leading up to their enemy's base. So if you get top mid, you're good as gold.
Oh damn, that's fast.
Yep. We're jumping right into it. We're gonna have Triggerfish zones in the green, it looks like, and then we're gonna have NFT art robbers in the purple. And as we see from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, is kind of what we expect from them. Kraken Mirror, of course, with the brush, Smork with the junior, just a very Triggerfish Zones comp.
Yeah, also no cooler on the side of Triggerfish Zones, which you don't see that often, but hey, they got him this far.
Yeah, they're not a team that usually runs cooler, and so far, it's been working for them outside of NFT Robbers, the Splat Roller, the vanilla one. Very, very good weapon, very underrated, with the use of bubble, kind of set yourself in space that's really gonna work, as you do see 1, 2 are gonna go down, 3 are gonna go down for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, so even though they will get the first cap, now NFT Art Robbers with a chance to establish a hold of their own.
Yeah. Oh, here, now we're just gonna have to see how non-cooler handles here, where while they don't have cooler, they do have other specials which can help them get in, which we're seeing yeah, anyways, here comes strikes, and it seems they're trying to make something happen, but the specials coming out from NFT robbers are slowing them down quite a lot.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what their specials can do. They have the strikes, they have the rollers, so they can't run in all willy-nilly. But there it is, the Kraken Mare whales are gonna get them in, and then Triggerfish Zones. What we've seen from them, they're really good at collapsing and taking those opportunities that they need. Because as you see, this is both zones just flipped in a millisecond. Though NFT art robbers are not gonna take that line down, just coming right back at it. That's Azuka gonna get one, and NFT art robbers with a chance here to try to just fight over zones.
So, yeah. God, they're just,
yeah, it's just, I guess it's just a lot happening.
Yeah, but so far, just it's been somewhat too, like, no team is exactly lopsided, which is, you know, not the standard, because normally when I think of this map, I think of just you see teams trying to take that side area, but most of the teams that have been like whenever a team holds, they seem to be holding center because their team's not giving them time to go into that side area where you can really start like a really dangerous chokehold.
Yeah.
Unless we see someone on the side of Triggerfish Zones starting to move up, and Ink Brush down already. And wait, Random Bomb gets sword, so they won't. They're gonna get zone back, but they still have to wait a bit for their sword to come back.
Yeah, I think what really put the nail in Triggerfish Zone's push there was that they kind of overextended, and because remember, NFT art robbers, they do have a roller to work with, so you have to be super careful. But a zip caster playing a bit of Spider-Man, swinging around New York City, able to get a really nice pick there. And NFT Art Robbers again in a very dangerous spot for Trigger Stones. They're really pushed up, but Pepe has something else to say about that with the use of the Zuka. But one's gonna go down, two's gonna go down, and that will be a wipeout.
Like, all that happened because, like, they couldn't go, like, normally when you want to retake on that map, you want that right side, but that bubble that was placed right on top of that little block on the right side just kind of shuts down any option you have to go there, so you have to take the awkward middle route, which, you have some high ground in the middle, and then it's just pit. And that pit is a death zone, because whoever goes in there is likely to die, unless you're in the high ground, and, you know, bubble kind of forces your opponents to go into that spot instead of where they'd like to go. Which, yeah, we're seeing bubble from both sides, which, yeah, it's good.
I mean, yeah, that's just a Zones classic. Like, bubble, especially on NFT Art Robbers, you want to talk about the roller. The use of bubble just to get and keep them in a really good spot for them. And like you said, it kind of forces a lot of movement. And we saw at the very end there, Triggerfish Zone's supremacy, they were kind of forced to move into a really bad spot for them because they had to drop into pit. They had to try to go through that kind of middle side. And NFT Art Robbers, they had a roller sitting there. They took full advantage of it. They got the wipeouts, and NFT Art Robbers with a very good start. But can they get this momentum rolling as we go to game number 2, Scorch Gorge Clamblitz?
So we talked about bubbles, like, for zones. Clamblitz, dear god, they're even, like, I'd argue Clamblitz is one of their best modes, because, like, either you could just completely hold your basket while the enemy's trying to push because you're on bubble, or you can just sit in their basket with a power, or, like, underneath a bubble, and it's gonna be really hard to stop that kind of push. Because it's just a giant fat HP bar that you have to rip through before you can even stop them from scoring in the first place.
Yeah, and I think with NFT Art Robbers, I think they're going to try to use that a lot, use the bubble, actually for both teams actually, use the bubble to get them in or get them in a really good spot. However, I think for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, I think they're a little bit more adept at fighting bubbles because remember, Krakenmare still has those whales, and whale doesn't matter if you have a bubble, it can go shoot right through it. So we might see a bit of that action going on as we see no changes from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy on the side of yeah, there is a T-type.
I haven't seen that thing in a hot minute. Wait, hold up. No, there was a T. Never mind. No, wait, we see both types of ink brushes?
Yeah.
The ink brush Nouveau is real?
Hey, it's a good weapon, especially here. You have the hammer, just kind of does make a really long choo-choo train, really dangerous, kind of force your way as the addict already gonna get one.
Yeah. We got both sides looking to start a fight, but nobody really wants to commit with players down. Never mind, Krakenmare's seeming to start something.
Yeah, it looks like both teams trying to feel each other out at the moment so far. Triggerfish Zones does have a lot of mid control, but it's kind of what their comp kind of does. You have Smork in the back just throwing bombs and just chucking some very dangerous areas that the enemy team's not supposed to be around. But NFT Art Robbers, though, with the pencil, just that added range plus the addition of cooler just gives them a lot more flexibility to work with. FC Addict there just in the base of Triggerfish Zones, doing what brushes love to do. Krakenmare is going to shut that down super quickly.
Yeah. We have the machine moving up. Mewtwo already under their basket, building up perfect space for their teammate. And there you go. There's the bubble under basket. It's a bit hard to see behind the giant sphere, but I mean, it's there.
It's there, but as you can see, Triggerfish Zones doing whatever they can right now, getting it down to 47 on their first push. That's a really good opening. We're about a little more than halfway through the game right now, and so far, Triggerfish Zones has been really good at keeping NFT Art Robbers at bay. They really haven't allowed them to kind of capitalize on the picks that they got, because they have been getting picks throughout the entire game. They've been getting the picks that they need. So they haven't really been able to really translate that into anything much, though that might change here as a lot of fights are going to NFT Art Robbers' favor.
Yeah. Like, that bubble could have been really good for holding off, but I mean, the bubble can only do so much when the person you're fighting is already in the bubble itself, and God, we're seeing a lot of great bombs, like, in a row. First in the bubble, next on the jump.
Hey, it's there for a reason. You can spam for a
Oh.
reason, but Addict just runs straight through like there's no tomorrow. But NFT art robbers are trying to capitalize on it, not quite able to. They are kind of forced to back away because they just entered this kind of choke area, this little death pit. And unfortunately for them, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, they know what to do. They're able to just really quickly close that gap and not allow for any more damage.
Yeah, because one thing that we've been seeing about this game specifically is that, like, anytime they start going down, they don't give up that much extra space. They're like, okay, we're down, we're just gonna back up, hold space, wait for teammates, and then, as a result, they don't end up losing that much space off failed interactions. And, well,
and not losing a lot of space. That's kind of the name of the game, is how much space can you not give up. Obviously, Mewtwo with a very nice 90 there to get a really good pick and get Triggerfish Zone Supremacy in again. You see Addict is kind of stuck there. Smork with the bubble is going to be popped, and Triggerfish Zones is going to keep the damn opening, getting it down to 11. Smork with 3 clams in reserve, trying to get those in. They're going to go down. NFT Art Robbers, a very solid defense, but now they have 90 seconds remaining. Can they translate this? Can they get this momentum going? They have a couple of clams. They have 2 power clams, 7 more in reserve. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is respawning though. Storm is going to be the first one to score again, but the rest are not able to. The Zip Catcher is going to be popped. They get another ball in. Hold on. Smork's the last one remaining. We do see Stamper with a couple clams in reserve, going to get down to 20. Couple more clams to follow up. Sunny with the jump is going to get camped. They're 1 clam away. There it is. NFT Art Robbers. You know what? Classic Clam Blitz. It happens. Just 1 push. They got it from 80 to 0. You know, even through the solid defense of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, it just 1 good opening, 1 bad stagger from Triggerfish Zones, and that's exactly what can happen to you.
yeah. Especially on a map like this, where, like, the clams don't spawn that far away from your basket, so you have to make sure that all times you're not wiping, because one wipe at a really awkward time, it's like, well, all the clams just spawned, and nobody's defending basket, and that's kind of what we saw there, where the clams just kind of were all there at the right time. Not only that, but they were able to build the space really well using their specials, mainly the strike, which forced them out.
Yeah, and I think it's just being able or keeping Triggerfish Zone Supremacy staggered, because throughout most of that final push from NFT Art Robbers, you saw from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, they rarely had all 4 up. Hell, they really had all 3 up. It was always 1, 2 people going down, different members going down, and NFT Art Robbers really capitalized on that. You see here, through this final push, you see Smork, the last one remaining, they just kept the clams going. Yes, right here, they all respawn at the perfect moment. They stopped Sunny. However, it took 1 final member from NFT Art Robbers to get in and just worked out in their favor. And so far, it's too early to call it, but NFT Art Robbers kind of looking for an easy 3-0 to move on to grand finals. But we've seen Triggerfish Zone Supremacy before. They know what we know what they can do. So will they be able to make this comeback, this reverse sweep possible as we go to game number 3, Ink Blot Art Academy Tower Control?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm personally not expecting much changes from either side, but I mean, hey, you never know. Okay, it looks like where they're putting the ink brush away back on the roller and pencil for edit? Alright.
A bit more Yeah, a bit more of a mobile option, especially for tower. I've tried to get some coolers in a much more aggressive spot for their teammates, but as we see right now, Triggerfish Zones being the aggressors here, as they're the first ones to touch tower. However, they gotta deal with NFT Art Robbers specials though, as the strikes, the GG strikes as they're usually called, able to stop that push before it even has a chance to start. And Triggerfish Zone Supremacy now, kind of a reminiscent of the second game, reminiscent of a little bit of deja vu, getting 3 down, Smork the last member remaining. Now NFT Art Robbers in a good spot with the bubble on tower to get to the first checkpoint rather uncontestedly.
I mean, at this point, we don't even, there's not even much specials up on Triggerfish Zone's Supremacy's side, so it's just a matter of not only do they have to build up their players, they have to build up those specials without having too many people go down.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, we just saw Triggerfish Zones did go another 3 down, giving NT Robbers a chance to get closer to the second checkpoint. However, they're able to quickly rebuild themselves before any more damage can be done. Maybe have an opportunity here to get a push of their own, but Mewtwo going down is not what you want to see. Another one going down for Triggerfish Zones, a third one going down, going from bad to worse for them. Kraken Mare, the last one remaining on that right-hand side, just forced to hide away. And I think this is the kind of the downsides of having no cooler. If you lose a couple of team fights, then it's really hard to keep that momentum going. Though here, a 3 down situation for them, this is what they've been needing for the game.
Because at this point, like they have the ideal setup. They have one person top plat, one person right side, and one person center. Like if they hold this, they got it. As I say, as one of them goes down. And here come out the strikes. If they can survive these strikes with enough people alive, this push might be going the long run.
Yeah, they're already at that second checkpoint. The real chokehold for this map. They're able to break through. NFTR Robbers just throwing bodies at the tower to try and stop it. Pepe's on tower. They're going to go down. Smork gets on tower to keep it going. Mewtwo staying alive, but the roller is going to shut that down. Kraken Mare is going to be the last one going down with a delayed wipe, but the damage has been done. And now it's up to NFT Art Robbers to prove that those first 2 games weren't a fluke and make a very large comeback here.
Yeah, we have Smork flanking on the left, and they all seem like they end up picking up someone else off who went to go help them. But yeah, we start seeing Triggerfish starting to just get positions, trying to build stuff, and one of them gets a stray pick with a bomb. Maybe we'll see them push up off this.
I mean, yeah, just trying to get those stray picks are really the catalyst for a lot of fights, actually, for any team, as Pepe is going to go down there, getting rid of the Zuka for the Mewtwo, however, able to get a really nice pick and to try to take away the resources from NFT Art Robbers. Kraken Mare trying to sneak around. They're able to get one. Another one's going to go down. 3 down for NFT Robbers. Just the roller able to stop the tower and give their teammates a jump. So now, with about 90 seconds remaining, this is still in range for NFT Art Robbers. If they get a good rotation of specials going, keep someone on tower, if they're able to just keep winning team fights, they're able to build off that. Though unfortunately for them, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy just holding down the fort, not allowing them to get any more points on the board.
Yeah. A big thing here is also, like, we have Mewtwo separated off, and Mewtwo's gonna have to find a way out, which they're in the perfect position to do some mean things. Speaking of which, there's one. We might see some more coming up. No, it looks like they're going to opt to back out while they still can, and it looks like NFT Robbers have popped cooler, which means they're not going to have it for a good. They're not going to have a second cooler for a good while. And that being said, Roller already pushing up towards top plat, exactly where you want to be. Bubble being popped, strikes being popped. They really got to make these specials count because they're not going to have too many more opportunities. And there goes third special, and that's a wipe. They probably take check here by the time they respawn. Just a matter of, do they also get lead off this as well? They have one person right, one person watching top plat. And just a matter of, can they take tower in time?
And that's what it looks like. But NFT Art Robbers, you see, the plat is painted all purple. They're able to take the lead. The members of Triggerfish Zones are falling like fish in a barrel. The roller getting a nice triple, a wipeout. Everyone's off the field. So that means Triggerfish Zones are not able to get on tower. And that will be NFT Art Robbers in a 3-0 sweep. Moving on to Grand Finals. Triggerfish Zones, I feel like for those last 2 games, it came down to the last push. It came down to the last minute where it was just an unfortunate team fight that's kind of spiraled out of control, kind of snowballed out of their favor. Because for most of that game, it was Triggerfish Zones through and through. They were looking really dominant. They had a push to 27, but unfortunately for them, it was just they found one crack in the defense, and from there, NFT Art Robbers, they found the opening, took advantage, and eventually took the game in the set.
Yeah, because one of the big downsides of running coolerless is very simply that you can't afford to have those big team fight losses. Whereas, like, if you're running cooler, you can just continue to team fight over and over again, and if it's cooler versus non-cooler, the cooler team just has to win one big team fight, whereas the non-cooler team has to continuously be winning those team fights. Because it only takes one bad team fight for the non-cooler team to not be able to recover in time.
Yeah.
Especially when you pair cooler with something like Bubble or something like Strikes, which, well, they got both. And you can see just how powerful the combination of those three specials are when combined together. One gets your team back in time, the other two take ridiculous amounts of space in such little time.
I mean, yeah, that's the name of the game. It's to kind of combine the specials, use them to the fullest, and just go from there. But with that, that will be it for winners finals. But stay right there because in a little bit we're gonna have our losers semis on the way. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't want to miss that. Everyone loves the redemption bracket. So we're gonna take a very quick break, but stay right there because we got more Prism Break coming up to you in a few minutes.
relax to the sound that goes around, 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 around. She said, hey, 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 feeling the fire with the burning desire. Every day we inspire, but never expires. But we gon' chill today, let me rock the world tomorrow. Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome
Hello.
back. All right, we have our loser semis set here. We have pickup culture as fire versus crocodile. I assume, yeah, these are both pickups. I don't know too much about anyone from pickup culture's fire, but I know X-Ray used to be a Tetra, so maybe we'll be seeing that. Oh, and we're starting with Mako zones. There are two ways Mako zones goes. Either we're going to see normal comps or we're going to see sliders. A lot of slider. And I'm more a fan of the not slider route, but slider's also funny, so
Yeah, I do think as a Dreadringer main myself, I do think Slider is the funny SD weapon. But overall, I do think Mako Mart is whenever I think Mega Man, I think it's more geared for like buckets and blasters and like the kind of short range weapons. Those like fighting weapons, like your 52s, like your splashes, because they can really move around a lot. They can take advantage of the height differences. They can take advantage of the movement options that we see. But we
speaking of which,
are
there's the
gonna see
blaster. And the 52.
there's He has Blaster 52, but other than that, these comps are pretty similar. Both of them have the pencil. Both of them have dualies, which is very interesting. Especially the V dualies, since the ones with crab are kind of are used more nowadays. But it is a very interesting weapon. The major change from both sides is one is running a 52 and the other is running a blaster. Very different, but so far just a lot of fighting. What you expect from Mako Mart.
Yeah. No, we already have the 52 going in deep. Unfortunately, they go down, but I mean, hey, we're gonna see specials dropping left and right soon. First crab, bubble on the left of the crab too, and it looks like they're about to take zone. And roller seems to be going to set up. Maybe they're gonna hug left drops. It's that's a pretty common place. You'll see rollers whenever they're an advantage, especially because how good that thing is at holding this ledge here. That you can see it just kind of waiting for someone to make a bad move.
Yeah, but so far it's like pickup culture is able to identify that super quickly, deciding not to go that way, instead going from the left hand side. The splashdown's gonna isolate the 52. They're gonna be able to drop out of here, but so far fights over mid. We do see the roller Ivy getting a trade into zone. Another one's going down. Picks are going down left and right, but pickup culture is able to recapture zone for even a second, so getting some penalty onto Crocodile is very, very important here, as so far, again, just a lot of fighting. We do see the dualies here for pickup culture trying to shark around this left-hand side. They do have a crab at the ready, so they can use that in a good spot. That could be really, really impactful for their team.
Yeah, they could use it, or maybe we're just gonna see them go for the flank, since, as far as we know, they don't know where the dualies is. As I say that, the other dualies finds them, and they have to jump out because of the crab that popped right behind them. And off that one crab, they can all just collapse. And from this point, we're likely going to see a bunch of people just kind of moving in. And the pen already on one, but backing off safely. And God, the sword's going in. Sword seems to want blood today.
I mean, hey, that's kind of what swords do, but we do see Ivy managing to punish the sword, but not before pickup culture. They get a large amount of their penalty gone.
Yeah, Pencil's able to clean off two people here, and it looks like we're already moving very quickly into the setup phase of lockout, which we should be seeing the crab here anytime soon, especially with how good crab is on right stack at holding that entire upper area that the enemy is going to be trying to recover from. And we see roller on one of the drops, as you normally want to see a roller when it's on your team, and at this point, pickup culture is just trying to find some opening, but they're kind of struggling pretty heavily.
Yeah, but so far 2 down. That's a good start. Gabe with the Zipcaster is Portugal gonna go back, but as we see right now, Crocodile's doing a really good job because they know that's what pencil does. It just sits there, it has a coloring pencil in hand, just drawing on the zone, as you see right here, able to just hold the zone X-ray, getting 1, getting 2, and with that, it's be a lot harder for pickup culture to get anywhere close to zone. One more is gonna go down to put the cherry on top, and that will be game for Crocodile. But as we saw, that was very, very back and forth. Much like we saw in that first set, it really came down to who won the last team fight. And from what we saw, Crocodile, they just were the victors there.
Yeah, not only that, but Crocodile had a really good lockout phase. Like, they were able to keep the other team in base really well. And that's really important, especially at Mako, because like if you can hold, there's like 2 ways you can get in safely. And if you can hold down one of those sides, especially with the kind of weapons they had, the blaster especially being so good at forcing you to take the path you don't want, then you can kind of just have a really good time locking them out if they don't have the special output. And when one of your weapons just can't output specials as quickly as the rest, then this lockouts can be pretty awkward to deal with on this map.
Yeah, and I just want to say, we pointed out earlier, Roller also kind of forced it forced the enemy team to kind of just go a different direction, because everyone knows, especially on Mako Mart, you're gonna have the roller on that little ledge right under snipe, so you gotta be very, very careful. But now, since we are in loser semis, this is a best of 3, so now pickup culture is on their last leg. But will they be able to fight back as we go to possibly one of the better one of the best, in quotations, best Rainmaker maps in the game, Undertow Spillway?
You say that. I like to call Undertow Spillway the gambling map. Let you have the safe route or you have the gambling route, which is right side. Right side can get you a really fast check and a lot of points quickly, but dear God, is it probably one of the riskiest routes in the entire game. If you catch all your opponents not respecting it and all going left, you get a free check or you get like free to 27. But like, if not, then you could just insta-die because of how easy it is to defend that right side. However, if you do take the left side, it's a lot longer of a path that you have to take. And while it's a lot safer, it is a lot slower and it gives the enemy more time to build up their defense. But I mean, hey, no reason to theorize. We can see right now for ourselves what they decide to do.
Yeah, looks like no changes for pickup culture.
Oh,
Oh, and
there's a
actually, there's
carbon.
there's a carbon, a bit quicker of a kill time. Of course, you gotta go with the Deco kit for the Instazuka. Maybe something will change, but we're gonna see both teams try to go for pop here, but really not, or try to get the space around the Rainmaker, which is really, really important. To see Ivy there at the bottom of your screen going for a really, really aggressive push. Unfortunately, they're gonna go down. That's gonna be 2 down for Crocodile. Pickup culture in a very, very good spot to get some points on the board. Maybe electing it to take this left side, the much longer route. And so far, members are just dropping left and right for Crocodile. Pickup culture able to get a very, very good push in the first 30 seconds, and they're not stopping anytime soon. X-Ray is gonna go down. Ivy is gonna pop the bubble, and that will be it. However, a flank is gonna get shut down again, and Crocodile able to play finally some good defense and just stop the knockout. But of course, this is Rainmaker, so even though that's a really good push, things can flip in an instant.
Yeah. Especially on this map, because like all it takes is like 2 sets of good time specials and suddenly the entire game could just be from 0 to 100. And it looks like already the Blaster's going in and planning to start building up some space for his team ahead of time. And they're opting to take left again, which is very good because they already have their Blaster set up with the bubble, but unfortunately for them, there was a dually waiting for them behind the entire time.
Yeah, the flanks are really, really effective, and now we do see pickup culture able to at least get it out of the danger zone, get it away from the checkpoint. And now if they could just keep Crocodile from breaking that first checkpoint, that gives them a lot of wiggle room, a lot of space to work with, because now Crocodile, they're gonna have to break that first checkpoint to get something going. But Gabe here electing it to take it this right side, just get it in a really awkward position for Crocodile. So now it's about, we're 3 minutes in, or 2 minutes into the game, and we do see pickup culture a lot different than we saw in that first game. A lot more aggressive in their playstyle, just a lot more forceful of getting what they want to do, and so far it's working out in their favor. X-Ray forced to pop crab in return, or just to keep themselves safe. They're able to get the Rainmaker reset.
Yeah, they're going to be fighting for Rain here, but Carbon went for the flank instead of going for pop, but it kind of cost them, as we have another person fighting in the corner. However, they go down as well, and suddenly we have a situation where there's another roller getting caught off on their own. Just team fights breaking out.
A couple of fights are gonna come out. Crocodile electing it to take again this left-hand side, a much safer path. And since they do still need to break that through that checkpoint, this might be the option, the right way to go, as they're able to break through. The pencil from pickup culture get a couple of pot shots, not able to get any confirmed kills. But now Crocodile in a really good spot. The path is gonna be cleared. There's the there's the bubble, and Crocodile getting it down to 9 points. I said it a little bit earlier, but this is Rainmaker. Things can flip in an instant, as Crocodile has now put all the pressure onto pickup culture.
Yeah, you may have Pencil, which is like one of the best weapons for stopping Rain, but Pencil can't really do anything if there's a giant bubble in the way. And even though Carbon was there to stop it, they just couldn't do it in time. And now we have like only 1:20 left on the clock for pickup culture to reverse this game. And they have to do so if they want to stay in this tournament, because if things keep up, it's going to be Crocodile that moves on.
Yeah, but I would expect pickup culture to not go down without a fight. As you see, they do have 2 specials at the ready. They did pop the cooler, so they can fight a bit more aggressively than they might do before. We do see the crab is gonna be popped. They still have a Stamper. Stamper's gonna go down. Very, very unfortunate. The Carbon trying to go in, not able to find any confirmed kills. Now they have less than a minute to go. There's the Zuka being popped. 1, 2, 3. No one's gonna fall down. One's gonna go down for Crocodile. And now Pickup Culture in a very, very good spot to try to get some points on the board. Gabe with the Zip Catcher trying to go for a bit of a flank. That's gonna run out. X-Ray though with the defensive crab is gonna work, and that's kind of the problem taking it on this left side, is that if you're losing, you're at such a height disadvantage. You need to be so far up, or you need to get such a good flank, or you just need to get such good special usage that at this point it's just Crocodile can just hold on here. They don't really have to force anything.
Yeah, I mean, they got enough time in the Rainmaker to just kind of stay here for the rest of the game. And that was their last thing that could threaten them, because all X-Ray has to do is run back. Oh, but it looks like someone got through, and we still have a game on our hands. That's 2 down.
Oh, there's the light. There's the light.
This game's all gonna come down to this last team fight that's about to break out. And barely Pickup Culture falls 2 points away from tying, 3 points away from moving on this tourney. Though, for Crocodile, they'll be moving on, but unfortunately for Pickup Culture, this is gonna be it for them.
Yeah, it just happened a little bit too late. If they had a second more, that would have been it. But yeah, that's why you can't sleep on Rainmaker, because anything can change at any instant. Because Crocodile, they went down at the absolute worst moment. The flank worked out so well in Pickup Culture's favor. It was just that they members of Crocodile respawned way too fast. They were at the wrong moment. They got down to 7, but unfortunately for them, Crocodile able to hold on, able to move on to our losers finals.
Yeah, we also didn't talk about that as much as the set was going on, but Pickup Culture had their Stamper flank quite a lot on the right side, and it was giving them a lot of value. It's just it didn't end up being enough for this particular set, and yeah. Carbon also pulling off every single option available in its kit to make sure that the game is possible.
Yeah, and with that, that'll be it. Crocodile is gonna hold on and not have to go to game 3, as they're going to move on to our loser semis. But before we do that, we're gonna take another very, very quick break before we get back into it with our losers finals. So stay right there or grab a snack, but come right back, because we got more Prism Break coming up to you in a little bit. Well, everyone, welcome back. I hope you got your drinks, hope you got your snacks, because we are here with our losers finals. I am Topic. I'm joined by Hito, and we have a team we saw a little bit earlier. We have Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, and we have Crocodile. Hito, how you feeling about this?
I mean, we have obviously coolerless versus non-cooler, and I enjoyed the way Triggerfish played. Like, I'm especially biased as someone who plays Machine. I mean, I played the other one, but I mean, hey, Machine's Machine, and I'm always glad to see more of it, but I'm most excited to see how cool this is going to do, because you don't get to see it that often at higher levels, And it's always a treat to see how cool this plays.
Yeah, well, we're going to see how they're going to adjust to it as we go to game number 1, possibly one of the most changed, or no, the most changed from Splatoon 1. Made it better after the update. We're going to go to Mahi Mahi Resort Splat Zones. In this map, I think it really becomes a really good map once the water level drops, because you just have a lot more space to work with.
Yeah. At least how I see that map. Like, the game really starts to 50 at the moment someone gets 50 points, because you get a real map once that happens.
Yeah, and we're gonna see what happens from Crocodile, what we've seen earlier, and from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, a bit of a switch up, going with a cooler DRF, going over to the Tri-Slosher Nouvelle. So fizzies are going to be really, really useful for them. And then you got, of course, the cooler. That's going to be super, super useful for taking a lot more fights, as we do see X-Ray going for a quick pick on Mewtwo. But Triggerfish Zones, however, going to get the first Kappa Zone, 2 down on either side. So a lot of fighting that's going in Triggerfish Zone's favor.
Yeah. And even though it was 2 for 2, like, considering one of the weapons that was up was a pencil, the team that had the 2 weaker painting weapons is going to really struggle to get that zone. But as I say, we're getting back to more of a neutral state, and one big thing that's definitely going to affect this match is that the recent fizzy changes, the fizzies do paint less than they used to, but they are better at killing, so while they may be not as good at painting that zone, they might be able to get some extra picks that they weren't able to in the past.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we do see a fight going in the favor of Crocodile. The crab from X-Ray is going to keep them alive while baiting in the members of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, as 3 are going to go down, and now Crocodile with a lot more space to work with, which is very, very useful for the rollers, since now you have just a lot of area to cover. You have a lot more entrances to watch if you Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, though. However, they don't really that doesn't really matter to them, as they able to get a very, very quick 2 down and take control of zone and get a lot of space off of it.
Yep. The V shot trying to get a good flank, but that point sense is really just gonna call them out before they get that Zuka. And if that Zuka would have been a surprise from out of nowhere, then it could have been so much more scary. But that point sensor making it a lot more obvious where the Zuka's gonna be coming from.
Yeah, but so far, Triggerfish Zone taking a lot of good fights, getting Crocodile another 2 down. We do see X-Ray with another crab. We do see the roller with a bubble at the ready. So if they can get into zone, that could be super, super dangerous. However, they're forced to pop this special a bit far back. The roller is the furthest up with the bubble. However, not able to get a lot of zone. A flank is going to get 1 down. It's just 3 down on side of Crocodile. Only X-Ray left on the Deweys. However, not able to really contest the zone. A jump is going to go down as well. 13 ticks left. That's another one going down. This stagger for a Crocodile will be deadly, and that will be game number 1 after a bit of a back and forth at the beginning. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy just kind of took over from there and just steamrolled over Crocodile.
Yeah, it's also especially big to note that, like, the V-shot inside of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy was really focusing down that pencil at the end game, and especially on a map like this, if you can isolate the pencil and you can handle it, it becomes really easy for your teammates to hold the zone. And this is especially important because if you haven't noticed, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy wasn't running a single special that was dedicated towards capping the zone itself. All their specials are just dedicated to either forcing the enemy to move or just outright killing them. So they really have to play more of that kill-focused neutral game when they want to get zoned.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they've kind of been known for. They're known for just trying to go as aggressive as possible, be in your face, and just kind of disorient you from there. And for the most part, it works. They just got a really good opening push, and then they just really fought back every time Crocodile tried to push back. But will this momentum continue, or Crocodile nip this in the bud as we go to game number 2, Ship Shape Cargo Tower Control?
Yeah, Ship Shape is definitely a tower control map of all time. Most of the time when I see this map, I expect to see steamrolls after the second check, but who knows what could happen, especially because a lot of the time, the biggest hurdle is when you're on defense, you have to make sure the enemy team doesn't start taking up your top left. Because once they get up there, it can be really hard to take them out, but as long as either side can prevent the enemy from getting up there, then there shouldn't be any quick games here, but who knows? Maybe we'll see someone get up there, maybe not.
Yeah, I think the biggest hurdle for either team is the very, very long trek between the first and second checkpoint that makes you go through the entire map from the far left to the far right. So that kind of allows the defending team to really kind of stop that before getting to the second checkpoint. And once you get second checkpoint, it's really, really hard to get through. But as we can see from Crocodile, no changes from either side actually, so they feel comfortable. Well, actually, no, scratch that. There is one change. We are going to see the custom blaster, I believe, from Messica there. That's the only change, I believe, from either side.
No, it was custom blaster last game.
Oh, okay. Well, then no changes from either side.
I mean, hey, the game was close. Why make changes? Just play a little differently, and there you go. If you're confident in it, then just run it. And that's already Azuka coming out, but no picks being found. I'd say is 2 people drop, because who needs Zuko? And sometimes your main weapon's just enough to get the job done.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Trigger for Zones, Crocodile with a very, very quick response, just kind of encircling the tower and getting a push of their own started. But unfortunately, the pencil's gonna go down. That will put a nick in their plans, as we do see Messica there on tower, forced to go off. They're gonna go down X-ray in the core, forced to go back away. They have to be careful of the roller, though. They do have a bubble at the race. That'd be very, very dangerous. It is going to be popped right before the first checkpoint. However, if you're Trigger for Zones, you can kind of just fight right through it, as they do, as they're able to get a 2-for-1 trade to try to keep the roller at bay. And so far, it's going to work out. No one's going to go down for Crocodile. The Zuka's going to come out, trying to get some picks, get a lot of chip damage, though. And now Trigger for Zones in a very, very good spot. The pencil forced to jump out, and now Trigger for Zones, nothing but orange in front of them.
Yeah. Now, they have a lot of people set up on that left side, and then pinning down Dooley's on their side, and there's someone trying to get in the pit, the blaster, but unfortunately not able to successfully get the flank because they get called out on it. And Roller getting a nice flank, getting tower off, and at this point, just a matter of setting up your positions, and especially for Crocodile, making sure nobody goes down, because they're about to get so many specials online if they all stay alive.
Yeah, but the real question is if, and it looks like they will answer that with yes, they're able to stay alive. Mewtwo gonna go down to the pencil. That's very, very unfortunate for them, as Pepe is gonna be again forced to back away. Messica trying to at least clear some space. It is gonna work out in their favor. Now, Crocodile has 3 specials. They have the crab as being popped. They have the splashdown. They have the roller. Unfortunately, 2 of them are gonna go down for flake from DR. 3 is gonna go down. Another one's gonna go down. The jumper is in a very bad spot, and that will be a delayed wipeout in favor of Trigger for Stone. So now it's like nothing has changed at all. They're back in a good spot. They're again marching towards that second checkpoint.
And one of the hard things on defense here is that even if you want to set up, you can't do so without the entire enemy team knowing, because Krakenmare popping Whale, which, yeah, it moves you, but also it gives the Whale user perfect information on exactly where you are, so you can't really do anything without the enemy knowing about it.
Yeah, and another big thing, or big hurdle that's going to be for Trigger for Stones is dealing with Messica, the Blaster, because as everyone knows, Blaster is very, very good on tower, just being the kind of the barrier of entry if you want to get anywhere on towers. We do see again Pepe being the last member remaining on Trigger for Stones, as the members from Crocodile are going to jump in, try to get something going, X-ray dipping and dodging around, able to at least stay alive for a little bit longer. Mewtwo with the machine and Krakenmare are going to be able to get another one down again, leaving only the pencil. What we've seen, or what I've seen consistently from this, is that Triggerfish Zones has been consistently getting 3 down on Crocodile. However, they've been going down at a point where the tower is so far away from getting any more points. It's kind of hard for them to really capitalize on that until maybe just now.
Yeah, and even though Try just died, they just grabbed their cooler and we have a cooled up V shot on the top right. As I said earlier, it's really dangerous what happens when someone gets up there because of how easy it is to stay up there and how hard it is to get someone off. And now they have to deal with a bucket up there. Not only is it hard to get them off, that high ground is really advantageous for any bucket. And yeah, this kind of just happens where if you get someone on that top right, the tower has a tendency to just go from whatever it is to 0, not that long.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of the snowball. This kind of happens the snowbally map. Once you break through that second checkpoint, you're so close to the goal that it might as well not be there, right? Because it's so close because by the time you get to second checkpoint, you probably already have someone up on that top right side to play some defense, and then you're just kind of steamrolling through it, trying to get through that choke point as quick as possible. And as you see right there, it took Triggerfish Jones a couple of tries, but eventually they were able to get through and break through second checkpoint and get to the goal.
Yeah, and what's so evil about this map is that second checkpoint is in the perfect spot where you have time to set up, alright, who do we want to go up in that top area? And once you've got everybody set up, by then the tower has a tendency to just move on. And now the enemy has to deal with people who are in really awkward spots to defend from, so not only do you have to use specials or other resources to get them off that, you also have to deal with the tower that's very, very close to KOing you.
Yeah, but here we go. Game number 3. Triggerfish Zones trying to look for a very, very quick and easy 3-0 heading to Museum D'Alfonsino Rainmaker. And whenever I think of this map mode, I think of the ramp because, believe it or not, a lot of games come down to who can control the ramp the most. Can the defending team defend their ramp better, or can the attacking team break through? Because this map can kind of come down to that little choke point area, because if you're able to break through it, you're good as gold.
Personally, I think a lot about the spinner because a lot of team fights tend to break out around that spot. You have this really awkward cover you have to play around, but on top of that, it's just you have the upper area of the spinner, the lower area of the spinner, and there's just a tendency for a lot of fights to break out there purely because there's a checkpoint there and a lot of ways that the attacking team wants to break into the final check are required to go through that spot and take full advantage of it, but yeah.
Yeah, as we do see Crocodile with a little bit of a switch going from the Custom Blaster over to the Squeezer for a bit more range, and the Zuka for a bit more of a forceful special. As we do see the Roller gonna go down in a bit of a pincer. Mewtwo's gonna go down to the Rainmaker. Messica's gonna go down to the Bucky. There's a lot of pandemonium as members going down left, right, and center. There's the Zuka from Pepe giving a freeway for Krakenmare to get the first checkpoint relatively uncontested. However, the members of Crocodile are going to be responding super quickly. It looks like that will be possibly the end of the first push, but Triggerfish Zones just setting the tone really early.
Yeah, here we go, that big fighter on spinner that tends to happen after first check. Not only do you have to get them out, you have to deal with this really awkward terrain that really favors the attackers, at least until they move up.
Yeah, and this terrain's working out in their favor. Krakenmare going to take it even further, twisting the knife a little bit more, getting it down to 22 against Crocodile. The defense has to step up here. Can they do it? That's a good start, getting one down. Pepe on that top left. The Zuka's gonna go down, but they're still going. DRF getting it down to 11 to see. Just testing Crocodile, see can they stop the defense, but right now it's like they're able to. X-Ray gonna go down to the Zuka by Mewtwo. Mewtwo staying alive, unfortunately not for long, but able to get another pip for going down. It's very useful, and that will be the end of the push. That was 90 seconds of Triggerfish Stones just proving their superiority, just getting it down to 11, and still they're not done with the aggressive. They're still looking to get more points on the board.
Yeah, the push may be over, but they never really cleared out that spinner area, which means Triggerfish Zones can just walk right back in and do what they're about to do, which is just threaten yet another push. And even though they already have such a strong lead, every second this push continues, it's one less second that Crocodile can make their push. Yeah,
and if they can drop in a really awkward spot for Crocodile. That could be really, really useful. We do see X-Ray with the defensive Crab trying to get the Rainmaker, able to get some pot shots on it, not able to confirm any kills. Pepe gonna go in, they're gonna go down, but not without getting a trade. Krakenmare just again wasting as much time as possible. DRF on that top left side on top of your screen, just being there, being a distraction for that pencil. Pepe jumping into the fray. They're gonna get a couple picks for going down. DRF gonna go down, but not for popping the cooler, and that again will be the end of their second push technically, because Crocodile just getting the members of Triggerfish Zones out of their base. That's what they're trying to do, but Triggerfish Zones not going down without a fight. The roller gonna go down again. Pepe's gonna go down again. Just again a lot of fighting, and it's been all condensed onto Crocodile's plat. Just taking away the space they have to work with and giving them a lot less room to build their specials.
Yeah, and also we see for the first time all game, Crocodile's finally taking mid back, which is very important, because if you're going to stop all this fighting, then yeah. But also, as I say this, Mewtwo already sharking on the side, Pencil in a very vulnerable position, and now they have to deal with a pincer. 3 people on one side, Machine in the back, and there you go. We're about to have the whole situation repeat itself all over again, back on the plat as if nothing happened. With only a minute 30 left for Crocodile to even put a single point on the board.
Yeah, talk about deja vu. Another Zuka coming out for Triggerfish Zones. They are just living rent-free on Crocodile's plat. They got the TV on, they got the fridge open, they got the AC all the way up there, just living there. When Crocodile not able to stop them, the roller, the last one left, they're gonna go down. Another delayed wipe for Crocodile. It's just been all Triggerfish Zones all game. They've been all gas, no break, just moving forward. We are 4 minutes into the game, a minute left to go, and it feels like Crocodile has been barely able to play the game. They're able to get 2 down on Triggerfish Zones, but it really becomes how much does that matter, because we've seen them Triggerfish Zones go down again and again and again, but they've just been back. They haven't really, or Crocodile hasn't been really able to capitalize on this.
Yeah, with only 30 seconds left, we have yet another center rain being popped, and while Crocodile is the one with the specials up, it's just a matter of will it be enough to not only break through first check, but also get all the way to 10 points. But even then, there goes X-Ray Crab from Zuka, which for the longest time ever, Crab's kind of struggled to exist when Zuka is being aimed right at it.
Yeah, it looks like Crocodile able to get at least some points on the board, but nowhere near enough. They still have 77 points to go. There's their roller with the bubble, but it isn't gonna mean much as Triggerfish Zone supremacy showing their supremacy in a very, very, again, very dominant game, as they didn't allow Crocodile to score until the last, like, 10 seconds. So with that, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy are gonna have the rematch they've probably wanted versus NFT Art Robbers in our grand finals after just dismantling Crocodile in that last game.
Yeah. Now the question that a lot of people are gonna be thinking is, are we gonna see Coolest again in that rematch, or is the Entry gonna come back? Because it looked like that Entry was doing a lot of favors to them, not only just in terms of cooler, but Fizzy building space, and also just the Tri-Slosher. People don't talk about the main weapon that as much anymore, but that thing still produces very fast killing huge hitboxes. And the paint's not that bad too. Like, it's a pretty good weapon, and maybe we're gonna see it again in that our finals.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe the Tri-Slosher was exactly what Triggerfish Zone Supremacy needed, but we're gonna have to wait for that after we take our final break, Prism break number 15, before we get into our grand. So stay right there. We got more coming up to you, but give us a couple minutes and we'll be right back. Well, everyone, welcome back. This is what you've been waiting for, the grudge match of our grand finals. We have Triggerfish Zone Supremacy looking to dethrone our #1 seed, NFT Art Robbers. I am Topic, joined by Hito. Let's get right into it as we're going to go to game #1, Splat Zone's Mako March. A bit of a retread here as we go back to the classics.
I mean, if I were to look at things like a service level, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's got 2 bucket players if they decide to keep that end try up, so it looks pretty favorable for them. But I mean, we saw NFT Robbers did exceptionally well against them the first time around, but I mean, hey, things can change.
Yeah, we saw that in our winners finals that Triggerfish Zones always jumped on them early. However, they just couldn't go the distance for them as NTR Robbers kind of outlasted them. As we do see the double bucket will stay for Triggerfish Zones from the side of NFT Art Robbers, a wiper and a roller. A really interesting comp, very aggressive, very frontline, very fight heavy. They want to take these engagements to very fight heavy comps. Let's see who will come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, that wiper just recently got buffed, so I mean, hey, time to see it in action.
Yeah, let's see in action. We do see the Tri Strike is going to be popped from NFT Art Robbers. They are able to get a lot of zone covered as they're going to force Triggerfish Zones back. DRF is going to go down to the roller. Roller's going to go down themselves. Pepe in another fight, they're going to get one. Storm's going to be forced out. And Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, again, not going down the fight. The roller getting a nice one. The hammer is going to be there. Just a lot of paint, a lot of picks going down into zone. Mewtwo barely staying alive. Wiper's going to get punished for that. And NFT Art Robbers are going to be the ones that lose that team fight as Triggerfish Zone's able to get a very quick lead here.
Yeah. Right now we have a lot of specials about to come in line. Whale getting popped, and at this point, just a matter of can they hold off? Because at this point, if they can stop these strikes, then they might go all the way and just push alone, which they managed to do. All they gotta do is get their members back to mid and get Pepe out of there because the V-Shot's really stuck in that corner as they go down.
It's just been a lot of fighting. The roller with the mid-air flick, able to get rid of Kraken near the thorn in their side with 2 specials at the ready. They have a chance to respond to whatever Triggerfish Zones might throw at them. Pepe gonna be found out. One's gonna go down for Triggerfish Zones. DRF here does have Cooler at the ready, so that is in play for them. They're gonna pop it, maybe a bit more of a team fight. Both teams are gonna pop Cooler, so we're expecting a lot of team fights. Kraken there just kind of sharking around here, doing more brushes, trying to be hidden from them, but NFT Art Robbers taking the lead here. However, Triggerfish Zones are in striking distance. They do have specials at the ready. Mewtwo is gonna go down now before Wipers and get a trade out of Pepe, forcing popping the Zuka, trying to get something going, but not a lot. As NFT Art Robbers, they just have a lot of paint that Triggerfish Zones has to work through.
And not only that, but they had, just when they were about to get zoned, they popped strikes to make sure that it stayed in theirs, and from that point on, just NFT Robbers can kind of just hold it because their comp has a lot more paint if they're going to be playing that more paint-focused neutral game, which is kind of really hard to avoid when Pencil's on one of the sides, where Pencil can kind of just sit back, force you to kind of play for paint until you have your specials to handle it.
Yeah, because if you're playing neutral, especially against a Pencil, the Pencil does kind of dominate here. You can't really afford to play neutral with Pencil. You have to play aggressive.
Yeah, and it's just kind of unfortunate because if you can't force Pencil to fight you, then you have to either kill it by using specials or just use those zone painting specials, which Triggerfish Zone Supremacy doesn't really have, so they really have to opt for handling Pencil the old-fashioned way, which is sending it back to spawn.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to try to adapt here because they don't want this to go even worse against them. As we're gonna go back a bit of a recall here as we go to again another very hot and cold Rainmaker map, Undertow Spillway.
Yeah, we've also seen that like every single game these teams have played, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy starts off winning, and then NFT Robbers proceeds to clean up the rest of the game not long after. So it's just we have seen that Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is capable of taking that lead. Just a matter of can they hold it.
Yeah, we've seen, especially last set, they have a really strong start and then they fizzle out. I think NFTR robbers just throughout the course of the games kind of learn what they want to do and how they would capitalize on this. So if you're Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, I think your goal is to get or just get a knockout. If you get that early knockout, you get that early, you just keep swinging, you don't stop, then maybe you're able to stop NFT art robbers from figuring you out and stop them from trying to build a counter push. If you just pounce on them early, and you're basically good to go.
Oh, and here we go. So that's going to be starting. I assume we're not going to be seeing anything new from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. They seem really comfortable with what they're running. Just a matter of what the other team's going to be running.
Yeah, it looks like the only change for NFT art robbers is going to be Storm going over to Azuka with that V-shot. Other than that, both teams comfortable with what they got as Triggerfish Zones taking the first pop to get some initiative going, try to get the first real fight to go in their favor. However, they gotta be super careful because NTR robbers, they do have pencil. Oh no, they do have wiper, they do have roller. They can punish any bad engagements that you see right there. Triggerfish Zone's going 2 down almost immediately. Krakenmare able to make up for it not without going down themselves.
Yeah. And even though we have 3 people up on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, one of them is behind the entire fight. But that's Zuka preventing the entire push from happening in the first place.
Yeah, a bit of geometry for Pepe, able to stop that push in its track. No points going on the board for NFT art robbers, as we do see another trade going in. Just very, very back and forth. Triggerfish Zones, unfortunately, going to go another one down. There's the roller, able to get another one, but not before the Rainmaker is going to reset. So now, NFT art robbers in a very, very good spot. They have Triggerfish Zones pushback. They have the more mobile cooler. They do have the heavy edit, so they can move a lot quicker with the cooler and just building it up. But Triggerfish Zones, again, they have a very short range, fast-paced comp. They have to be really, really careful with that.
Yeah, because even though NFT Robbers has the more balanced comp, all it takes is one good opening for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, and that could be a lot of points on the board. Because once these kind of short range comps get in, it's pretty hard to get them out.
As we do see, again, just a lot of neutral. Triggerfish Zones has been kind of put at bay. They've been kind of not allowed to do what they want to do. As we do see Jump getting killed, and Pepe's gonna go down. Mewtwo able to barely stay alive, getting a kill onto Storm with the Zuka of their own. As Triggerfish Zones trying to push in with that, but the combination of the roller and the wiper has kind of made it really, really hard for Triggerfish Zones to get anywhere. It's been really hard for them to win team fights definitively. As we do see, they're gonna go 3 down. So now NFT art robbers about halfway through the game be the first ones on the board, but only going to get 1 point as Krakenmare just playing defense by themselves. They're gonna get chased out. However, a flank from Mewtwo is gonna get the Rainmaker, and NFT art robbers are gonna be stopped at 98. Not a whole lot there.
Yeah. Half the game and only 2 points, but something telling me this is going to quickly change because they got a lot of pain on the board. They got that bubble to secure 1 check, and it's just a matter of can Triggerfish Zone Supremacy recover in time to stop this from becoming even more points.
Yeah, looks like the answer will be no. The red carpet's gonna be laid out, but DRF and Krakenmare able to roll it back up before it gets any worse. And Triggerfish Zones are in a really, really tough position here, as they're gonna, and the art robbers gonna take the Rainmaker again, getting it down to 3 on the cusp of the Rainmaker goal. But unfortunately, there will be stopped, and that will be the end of a push. But that one push took almost 3 minutes to get started, and now how little time there is left, I would be surprised if Triggerfish Zones can really kind of flip this around in their favor.
I mean, hey, this is Rainmaker. Anything could happen. And speaking of which, that's 3 down, and 1 person chasing from behind. That's going to be checked, but all they have to do now is convert, which they managed to deal with the guy behind. All they gotta do is clean up the front. But unfortunately, that's 3 down. And we're gonna be resetting this whole situation all over again.
Yeah, even though Triggerfish Zones got a really, really good start there, unfortunately, NFT Robbers, they really good at capitalizing on that. They really pincered the members of Triggerfish Zones and put them in a bad spot and just allowed them to get that first checkpoint, but it really didn't change a whole lot because now Triggerfish Zones, they have a minute to go, 58 points to take the lead. However, they're going to try to start that now with a second push getting started, unfortunately for them. Pepe is going to go down, very unfortunate. Mewtwo with the Zuka not able to find any picks off of that. 45 seconds remaining for Triggerfish Zones to try to get something going. The members of NFT Art Robbers are kind of condensed into this left-hand corner or right-hand corner here. Pepe gonna go down again in a trade Crackermere with the Rainmaker trying to just clear out some space. That's gonna go 2 down, and there's the roller doing roller thing, just being there at the absolute worst times for Triggerfish Zones, forcing the Rainmaker to back up as Crackermere. They need to at least do something here, with only 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah. And they gotta hurry up quickly because that not only do they have the overall timer as a worry, but they also have the Rainmaker timer itself. Because even if they get that overtime, they don't got much Rainmaker time left. And no matter what, this is gonna be the last push. So they need something to happen right now. Only five ticks left, and that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If their Rainmaker timer wasn't so low, maybe they could have done something. But unfortunately, not only do you have to worry about your opponents in Rainmaker and also the overall timer, the Rainmaker is a timer of its own that you got to handle, and if you take too long, you are just going to blow up.
Yeah, and I think what really killed it for Triggerfish Zones was their caution, to say the least, because they kind of kind of let the time run, I should say. They let the time run down really, really low to where you only had about 6 seconds of game time, only 8 seconds of Rainmaker time, so they didn't really have a lot to work with. And by the time you saw the overtime, you saw what happened, Crackermere just had to make a quick decision to switch over to that right side. And since the NFT Art Robbers knew that they had to switch over, they were able to rotate over there and just kind of kill the Rainmaker's push before we got a chance to start.
Got also the big thing of just the entire game having nobody scoring till the halfway mark was not really that good for them either, because half that game was already done by the time someone scored, and it wasn't even them. So the amount of time they had after that first big push was really tight.
Yeah, but let's see, can NFT Art Robbers complete the double sweep of Triggerfish Zones, or will Triggerfish Zones bring this back to a closer set as we go to game number 3, our potential final game of the tourney, Clan Blitz on Scorchforge.
I mean, we've already seen these teams play here, and while Triggerfish Zones once again had a really good lead at the beginning, it was Art Robbers that ended up being the ones who got the win with one ridiculously good push. So all they have to do really is make sure that Art Robbers don't pull off something like that again. But we've seen that it's been pretty hard for them to stop that really strong push later in the game.
Yeah, for NFT Art Robbers are gonna go with the Stamper, and Addicts bringing out the Nouveau Stamper, or Nouveau Ink Brush, so a bit of a hammer there, again, kind of force a fighter first their way in. Pepe gonna be the first victim, unfortunately, but now before Addict's gonna go down in a trade. NFT Robbers gonna go 2 down here, so maybe Triggerfish Zones an opportunity to try to get something going, but the question becomes, can they capitalize on this DRF in a good spot? They're gonna go down, so NFT Art Robbers are quickly reassembling themselves from a pretty bad opening from them.
Yeah. And here we are. We have the ink brush flanks. Usually the 2 ink brushes trade, which is technically in Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's favor, because having an ink brush in your basket with holding 7 clams is not something you ever want.
Yeah, almost hit the solo queue classic, as we're going to see a bit of a mid-fight here. Pepe in a really bad spot. They're gonna go down. And now NFT Art Robbers slowly creeping their way forward, slowly getting specials, slowly taking away the space from NFT Art Robbers to work with. As you do see, they're up to that ramp. Unfortunately for them, the defense from Triggerfish Zone is going to be a bit too much for them, as they're going to be forced to back all the way to mid.
Yeah, here we go. We have Stamp again, and we're likely just about to see a Stamp being popped from behind. Unfortunately for Stamp, doesn't get any picks, but at this point, we're gonna see Triggerfish start to retake mid, and we have them trying to focus someone in the corner. Krakenmare doesn't seem to notice though, and Stamper looks like it's gonna try to take advantage of the situation, getting one.
Yeah, looks like the Stamper is gonna get 2 before, but actually no, they're gonna get 3. So a very, very good opening for NFT Art Robbers. They have the clamps to work with. They have a power at the ready. There it is. Addict's gonna be the first one to score and get a trade with Krakenmare. However, the follow-up might be a bit underwhelming for them, only getting a couple more clans. However, they have more in reserve. Addict's gonna go down. The Stamper has 2 clans there. They're gonna go down, and that's to be a wipeout for Triggerfish Zones and for NFT Art Robbers. Not able to get it under 60, which is really the barrier you want to get under through your first push. And Triggerfish Zones able to quickly get on the enemy side here.
Yeah, and we're having an immediate counter push thanks to the Brush being the one to score power, which we're kind of noticing that on both sides are kind of reliant on that Brush to be the one to score, which, all fairness, that weapon is really fast, and if you're going to have one player dedicated to it, Ink Brush sure is a good weapon to have it score.
Yeah, and as you saw right there, Triggerfish Zone's able to take the lead by 1 clam. However, NFT Art Robbers not that far away. Only 4 points that are separating these two teams. There's Addict with the hammer, the choo-choo trains coming through. Unfortunately, it will be derailed before getting a lot of value out of it. And now Mewtwo and Pepe looking for a pick here. Pepe able to fall through the Stamper, able to come away with their life before going down to Krakenmare. And now with about a minute 50 left remaining, NFC Art Robbers are not gonna panic, don't have to panic too much, because they have a lot of clams to work with. They have the pity clan to work with. They have a lot of resources to get a really good push going.
Not only that, but they've got most of mid, and if you have mid, well, that's where the clams mostly spawn. And as long as you hold that, you hold the clam economy in your hands.
Yeah, they're gonna have the clan economy. Pepe with a nice flick of the Zuka, gonna get to. Very unfortunate for MC Art Robbers, but thankfully for them, Addict just sneaking by them, getting a lot of clans and getting the lead actually for them. Hold on, and FC Art Robbers turn this into a really, really good spot for them, as now Triggerfish Zones are forced to back away, and with a minute remaining, it looks like the members of Triggerfish Zones are going to go down one after another. Storm is going to get a lot of damage on the Krakenmare. They're going to get out with their life, and empty Art Robbers went from a really bad spot to the double to Pepe to having almost 20 clans in reserve, as Addict's going to go in again, but miss it. They're going to miss to the far right.
Unironically, DRF saved that by being in the way, because if an Ink Brush does hit somebody while rolling, it gets pushed back, and if it weren't for that, they would have gotten the clam in. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that is going to mean that this game's going to continue on.
Yeah, but not for long, as NFT Art Robbers have killed the clan that Triggerfish Zones have. Now they have 20 seconds to build a power clam in to get a push going, but thankfully for them, they're not that far away. Only a couple points separating these two teams. That's not a good start though, getting 2 down. Krakenmare with the flank, they're gonna go down, and that will be a wipeout. Addict will score the power, score a couple more clams, and that will put a nice little bow on the victory for and that will be it. NFT Art Robbers will take the set in a sweep and will be your Prism Break 15 champions.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them win with such dominant fashion the first time these two played, and unfortunately for TZS, they couldn't get the follow-up they wanted. They couldn't get the comeback, or not, nor could they get the run back. But I mean, hey, both teams played pretty well. We saw some pretty back and forth situations, and even though that was a sweep, the games were pretty close up until the end of most games, in fact.
Yeah, because I think this also carried over from winners finals, where both of these teams were pretty close for a majority of the game. It was just at the very end. At the very, very end, it came down again to one bad team fight for Trigger for Zone Supremacy that went into NFT Art Robber's favor, and they capitalized on that. They just kind of let the floodgates just burst through, and they just kept on scoring and scoring and scoring. And as you see here, a really bad fight turned into a wipeout for Trigger for Zone, and NFT Art Robbers were in the right place at the right time. They had a power, and they had a couple more clans, and that ended the game for them.
Yeah. And it's also crazy to see how much value both teams got off the ink brush in that last game too. Like both times they played here, both teams were relying on that ink brush, and it definitely wasn't just a fluke thing because it was both times they played. And I'm pretty sure every single clan that scored between the two sets on this map was always the ink brush who was opening each push.
Yeah, and with that, that'll be it for our grand finals, and that will be it for this week's edition of Prism Break. But before we go, we have a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. Keto, where can the people find you?
They can find me in multiple places. Mostly, if you're looking for me on Blue Sky, at Hitarisu. If you're looking for me on YouTube, Hitarisu as well. Any social media place, just look up Hitarisu. I'm probably there.
Yeah. As for me, you can find me over at the right there on both Twitter and Blue Sky at Topical2. Find me over on Discord at Topic2, and that will be it from us. Remember, vote for your maps because your input matters. That will determine the map list for our next Prism Break. And yeah, and that will be it from us. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, actually, no, before we go, I just want to say that because NFT Art Robbers did win this Prism Break, they will also get an invitational win to Proving Grounds, so that's something more to look out for. And with that, that'll be it from us over at Under Pressure. Of course, thank you, Jorian, for running the stream. Thank you to all the GOs doing all the housekeeping in the background, and that'll be it. So, of course, have a good night, have a good tomorrow, have a good week, and as always, remember to never stop disturbing the peace.
Back out, new perspective gained from all the pain.